You know what time it is? I got my shirt on. This is going to be a shirt that I'm going to try to wear every time we talk Spider-Man related stuff. And yeah, your boys dripped out today with all the Spider-Man. So you guys know we're going to be talking Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man today, episodes 3 through 5. Banger episodes. The show just keeps getting better and better. So if you're new here, welcome to the stream. If you have not, definitely check out the channel. A good variety of content that I'm sure you guys will enjoy and like. And without further ado, I'm going to get into your guys' comments and see what you guys are talking about. Let's see here. Janine, you said live action Fantastic Four. Yeah, that's cool, Janine. Yeah, we're getting Fantastic Four. It's happening. What's up, Anthony? Welcome to the stream. I don't know if you're still here or not, but if you're still here, what's up, man? Just waiting for everybody to get in the stream and stuff, and I kind of just want to hear your guys' thoughts about episodes 3, 4, and 5. What's up, Carter? You're good. You're good. I actually was late myself. I was supposed to start at 5, but I forgot to send out the stream, so I had to send out the stream and stuff to make sure people saw it. So hopefully we'll get more people coming in because the last stream we did, that Fantastic Four stream, y'all went crazy. Y'all went real crazy with that stream. So I hope we can get that momentum up in this stream. And yeah, but you're all good. You're all good, man. So episodes 3, 4, and 5 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man to me feel like a three-parter event. Like I love how this story, like there's separate stories in between, but they're still like interconnected stories, especially with Lonnie Lincoln, which Lonnie Lincoln, he's the MVP of these three episodes. He's been the MVP throughout the entire show, but I really enjoyed Lonnie Lincoln, his character, and it's going to be such a sad moment when he turns into Tombstone because I love this character. He's very nice, very chill guy, very has so much potential, and it's going to be sad to see all that potential just go away because of the circumstances that he was brought into. And I want to say this: his brother Dre, his little brother, he's a villain because if it wasn't for his little brother, he wouldn't be in this situation right now. So it just goes to show you that sometimes all it takes is for someone in your family or someone that you know to put you in a predicament, and then you have to get them out of that predicament. And sometimes it's oftentimes you have to like make that sacrifice just so that other person can live on. And it's just a testament to Lonnie Lincoln's character. He's a very selfless character to be able to put himself into that situation of the 110th Street Gang. It's just really saddening, but also it's like, man, I feel for this guy. Like I really do. I feel for Lonnie. And see, I'm gonna get into your guys' thoughts. I love episode 3. What's up, Freddie? He said, I love episode 3 to 5. It was amazing. They did it really good with the show. Yeah, they are doing really good with this show. Like each episode just keeps getting better and better. And each character really does have their own side story. We still have the whole thing with Peter, with Norma Osborn, and I like the way they played that off because, we've always known in the comics that Peter has this thing, Norma Osborn has this thing, and they intertwine many times, but we don't really get the reveal that Norma Osborn knows that he's Spider-Man until like Amazing Spider-Man issue 39, and then that's a whole thing in itself. So we get that reveal. So I love the way how they played this off so cleverly this time around with this Norma Osborn being like, "Yeah, I know that you're Spider-Man, and I want to try to help you." And it just seems like this Norma Osborn, it's a slow burn. Like we know he's gonna turn. We know he's gonna turn heel in wrestling terms. It's just a matter of what's going to get him to that point. So we're gonna eventually find out how we're gonna get there, and it's just gonna be really saddening because, in a way, I kind of like this Norma Osborn, but also in a way, I'm also nervous because I know the history of Norma Osborn. He's a very sly, a very vindictive man who has a way of playing into a lot of people's intentions, and he knows what he's doing. So I just know the turn is coming. I'm trying to figure out where and when. What's up, Carter? He said my thoughts on episodes 3, 4, and 5 is that it's amazing. Lonnie's brother joining a gang and it sets him up as Tombstone. Yeah, I mean, even down to, the Dawn, which that actual Dawn does have some connections to Luke Cage. Which I was kind of like when he mentioned Harlem, I was like, okay, where's Luke Cage at? Not really knowing that that character has ties to Luke Cage in the comics, so it was kind of like cool. That's kind of like if they want to, maybe we could see Tombstone versus Luke Cage. Maybe that's something we could see because that has happened before in the comics. So maybe there's a little teasing of that. So I think that would be kind of cool. You said, I know, right? It's so amazing. Yeah. And just even down to him calling Lonnie like superstar and Lonnie being like, man, can you stop calling me superstar? And shout out to Big E, the wrestler Big E, if you guys know from the group The New Day. Shout out to him. He actually voiced a character in the show, and his name is Bulldozer, which we've seen Bulldozer before in the MCU, but he looks very different. But Bulldozer was in She-Hulk, if you remember. He was a part of there's some kind of group that she had fought or interacted with at one point. So he's a part of that, and I thought it was really interesting. He had like a little bulldozer chain that he was wearing, so kind of like when I'm wearing like a Deadpool chain, he was kind of wearing a bulldozer chain. So I thought that was a really nice callback. But even just his jacket reminds me of something that, when you're on a construction site, the orange jackets that they wear reminded me a lot of that. So these character designs in here, they go very into like comic accurate designs, but also modernize them. Like especially Speed Demon, which I thought Speed Demon was like really cool in that episode. Him and Maria, who actually is a tarantula, she's in Heroes for Hire. So I thought that was really nice that they found a way to kind of do like this thing where they bring in certain versions of characters that you see in the comics and then kind of bring them to the forefront. So that's one of the things this show does really well, and it turns it on its head. It feels like you're meeting these characters for the first time, and for a lot of people they are. And yeah, so me too. What's Norma Osborn's Green Goblin gonna look like? Is he gonna wear a mask or a helmet? I hope he wears a mask. I would love for him to have his comic accurate mask that he just wears. I think a helmet to me, I mean, I could see them doing the helmet, but I would love for it to be like, we get the final fight. Peter, he's made his homemade suit. Well, not his homemade suit, but he's made his classic suit, and you get that classic vibe. And then you have Green Goblin. He's in his classic design with the costume, the Green Goblin costume, and the pumpkin bombs, and the mask that he puts over his face. Like I would love to see just like a head-to-head battle, with those two. And so yeah. Spidey scaring the little girl in the dust costume reminds me of Gumball doing the same thing to Billy in the comic episode. Yeah, and that just goes to show you, like, yeah, the Dusk outfit in hindsight, because that comes from like the Identity Crisis or the Web Spinners. I think it's the Identity Crisis or Web Spinners run. Like that just goes to show you that the ideas they had for Peter Parker, because there was a whole storyline where Peter was he had a warrant and he was on the run, so he had to come up with a whole new gimmick. And the Hornet was one of them, Dusk was one of them, and then they had the whole web spinners thing with the crazy Prodigy suit. I think it's the Prodigy suit, the one that looks like Thor, which I thought that was a funny thing there that they did because it does look like Thor. And that just goes to show you with the Prodigy suit. Yeah, Spider-Man doesn't do well with the cape. He's had capes. He's had capes in other versions. We've seen with Miguel O'Hara, which I thought it was very interesting. There was a little Easter egg. I don't know if you guys caught it, but with Nika Monaro, she lives in a foster home. So Miss O'Hara, that was her name. That was the foster, I guess, over the foster home. And I thought that was really interesting because I instantly heard that name. I was like, Miguel. Are they gonna have Miguel O'Hara? Or is that just a little reference to Miguel O'Hara? So I love that this show is like taking references from other comic book characters, but also Spider-Man characters that we've seen before, and just putting them together in this world that just really works. You said, "What's up, Carter?" You said, "I love seeing Norman's mentorship to Peter in these episodes. It's amazing." And Peter and Nico's friendship, which is looking like they're going to be a couple. I hope they become a couple. I really love their relationship. I love their dynamic. And you can really tell that Nico like really likes Peter. Like down to Norma Osborne being mentioned all the time, down to that conversation she had with Norman with Peter when he shows up at school, and everybody in school is talking about him, riding with Harry. That conversation where she's like, "I just hope you have time for yourself." But we know that she's trying to say like, I hope you have time for me, your friend, like the girl who likes you. Like you can tell. And then down to like the movie theater situation when Harry showed up and she was kind of like, "Oh, I didn't think he was going to be here." Like you could tell like that was something she wanted with just her and Peter. So like I said, they're really building up this relationship with, Nico and Peter, and I really do hope they explore it cuz it's a different dynamic and this is a different world. Like even down to the events like the Sokovia Accords. I love the way that they bring up the Sokovia Accords, and the way that they handle it to me is how they should have handled it in the MCU. They should have not had Peter Parker show up in Civil War. They should have had Peter on his own doing his own journey because again, we've had history with Peter Parker. He's not really someone who is like all in with the Avengers, right? He's a loner. He prefers to, do things on his own. Like, yeah, he'll team up with Daredevil every once in a while. He'll team up with, Jessica Jones every once in a while. He may help with the Avengers just a little bit, but then he's back on his own. Like, that's how they should have done with Tom Holland. So this show really does correct a lot of the mistakes that I have issues with the MCU in terms of Spider-Man, but also like I feel like this show really does put the focal point on like yeah, this is a different Peter Parker. Like this is him becoming into his own. This isn't him trying to join the Avengers. This isn't him trying to be in a bigger third world issue. Like this is a street level Peter Parker Spider-Man story that we've wanted for a while. It's better than Tony Stark mentoring Peter Parker. I agree. I agree. What's up, Colbert Blade? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing real good, man. I hope you guys are doing good. If you excuse me, my stay hydrated. You said and I hope Peter and Nico do become a couple. I already got a couple names for them. Pinora. I like that. I like that. I hope they do keep it. Dark Souls, what's up, man? I love Spider-Man's relationship with Doctor Strange. I just played the Spider-Man game on PS5, and the Sanctorium is even in the game. Yeah, it's even in Spider-Man PS4. Like they really, if you guys have played those missions where they have Peter take pictures of different locations, like there's the Wakanda Embassy in the game. There's this Sanctorium. There's Josie's bar. There's the bar with no name. There's like a ton of locations. Matt and Murdoch, Nelson and Murdoch's is also there. Like there's a ton of Easter eggs in like the first PS4 game. And I kind of hate, then one of the things with Spider-Man 2 is I wish they kind of brought that mission back because there's definitely a lot of new locations that they mention or put in that world that they didn't bring notice of. Like Fist Tower has a giant four that's being painted on it. How surprising! Fantastic Four, So you got that, but Spider-Man 2 didn't do like any kind of mission like that, which I kind of hated. Like I love that mission where you're taking pictures of different Marvel locations and stuff. I think that just gives people a little bit more curiosity into certain characters and where certain characters reside. So Hopefully, maybe with Spider-Man 3, maybe they bring something like that back because I like that mission. Even these episodes and shows in the events of every MCU movie proves that those events will still happen in every universe. Yeah, like for the most part, they're bound to happen in different ways and in different timelines. Like Spider-Man isn't in, the events of the Sokovia Accords. Like he hears about it from Norma Osborn, but it's more of a thing of he's kind of like, huh, this is going on, and it's kind of like I'm doing my own thing. Like I got my own journey. I hear it, and he's a big Captain America fan. Like throughout these episodes, he's mentioned Captain America so much, which again plays into the prequel comic, where he literally has a Captain America poster on his wall. So that's his big idol, which that's how it should have been in the MCU. Why is Peter, being such a why is Iron Man such a big inspiration to Peter in that universe? Like it should be Captain America because Peter Parker's always had that fascination with Captain America. They even did I believe it's a what if comic. They even did a what if comic with Peter Parker becoming Captain America at one point, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that, but I think there is a comic where Peter Parker becomes Captain America for a time or something like that. But it just it always made sense. Like it always made sense. So I love that Peter has this big thing with Captain America because again, it just makes sense. Peter is Dusk. It definitely had me dying for him doing the basically Batman impression, especially with the voice. Yeah, even with the voice impression too. Like his voice was just even gruffier and stuff, and I'm like, the poor girl just started crying. Everybody was coming after Peter. Yeah. And then Norma Osborn made the joke. He was like, well, maybe we'll put a smiley face on it. And I'm like, I don't think a smiley face is going to do anything, make it any better. And so he ultimately got the future Foundation suit. They're coining it as the Osborn suit. But like I said, I still have a theory with that. I still have a theory with that whole thing, which hopefully gets revealed if it is true. But we'll have to see. But even down to like, what was it? Uh, it was the scene in I think it was the third episode where he comes back from fighting Speed Demon and Tarantula, right? Like there's that scene where he comes back and Norma Osborn freaks out because Peter is literally right there and he doesn't know that Peter just came in. But even scenes like that just add to Norma Osborn's character. It makes him a little bit more grounded into the reality. Like it doesn't feel like he's so secluded into the universe. It feels like he fits right in, all while still being this prestige, rich man with more intentions than are being revealed. You know, she said that she was funny. She said that was funny. Why did you do a Batman voice in the dust costume, even when he already scared a little girl? Classic. If the world was ending, okay. Okay. Respect. I can't be the only one who's nervous about Lonnie Lincoln's complete transformation into Tombstone. I'm a little. I can understand where you might be a little nervous, a little worried. Uh, we'll have to see where it goes. Like I said, I won't judge it. But it is gonna be a little sad because again, I love this character. Like I've enjoyed Lonnie Lincoln as a character, and he just ultimately seems like a really cool guy that anyone would want to hang out with. Like he's not one of these like you know in school you have the athletes who most of them are very egotistical. Luckily, when I was in high school, I knew some athletes that weren't egotistical. They were very chill guys and very cool. So Lonnie Lincoln just seems like that really cool guy, athletic guy that everybody's just cool with. Like anybody can, approach him, talk to him, and be cool with anybody. So I like characters like that. I'm glad that they went away from the whole stereotypical, traditional, jock, uh, egotistical, a jerk, bully type thing. I'm glad they went away with that because again, it just adds so much more to this universe being different. What do you think about the fact that two English actors played Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and the characters are actually American? Well, here's my thing about that. Because, you could coin this two ways, and I think about it like this. If the actor is good for that role, I think it's okay, you know? But there are certain times where I do feel like, and it's not, I think about it from real life people. Like, I feel like these are fantasy characters, so you can kind of get away with that. But when it comes to real life, figures, I feel like sometimes they choose actors from, other countries to play certain roles, and it's kind of, to me, it kind of takes away from, you know, other actors who maybe have some more context to certain things that go on in this country. But again, it just all depends. It all depends. So that's how I see it. I like loving Captain America better. I like him loving Captain America better than Iron Man. I agree. Here's Johnny. Every time, man, you come in the stream, you say the same thing. Don King. I get it, man. How many times you gonna say the joke before it gets tasteless? Because I mean, you said it the second time and it was already tasteless, man. Captain America was also Spidey's inspiration and Earth's mightiest heroes. See, there we go. See, like again, there's history with Captain America and Spidey, and I would love for, I don't know if they'll do it in this season, but I would love for there to be a scene where Spider-Man does eventually meet Captain America, and they sit down and they have that conversation, and maybe Captain America could give him a little advice, like, "Hey, man, I've been seeing what you're doing. Don't ever feel like what you're doing isn't enough. You're doing great for how you are, and I want you to keep doing you. Be the Spidey that you need to be for yourself and the world around you." I would love for Captain America to just sit down and have that conversation with him. I honestly think that conversation alone would be more beneficial to Peter than Iron Man's whole role in the MCU for Spider-Man. That scene alone to me would just be enough to kind of keep that Peter Parker saying, like, okay, I want to continue this. Captain America, he sees something in me. My own idol sees something in me. Like, that's dope. I want to keep this going. So I hope they do something like that. I love how we got your typical black and Mexican beef. Well, that's something that happens in real life. It's, I can understand where people can make that argument, but it is something that does happen in real life, and I do like that they are taking real life, things that happen, and as far as like, because things with gangs, they do happen. Like, it happens in New York, it happens in, Los Angeles, it happens in a lot of places. And so to me, I think they took the route of not leaning into this whole thing where it's like you're beating it across people's heads. Like, they make certain things obvious, but then they let certain things give you more context to things that you may know, or things that you might have experienced, or maybe someone else that has experienced the same thing. What's up, nostalgic? You said, "What's up, Shutta?" Open Shutta. You said, hey, and I respect your opinion, and I love Spectacular Spider-Man better." And hey, you know what? That's fine. Open. Everybody's gonna have a thing that they like more. Some people are gonna like the show better than the other Spider-Man shows. Some people are not, and you know what? That's okay. It's perfectly fine. Like I said, I may not be the biggest Spectacular Spider-Man fan, and again, that's okay. Everybody's gonna have their own different tastes. So if you like Spectacular Spider-Man better than this show, that's okay. Like I said, that's actually amazing. Like I said, Spider-Man is such a versatile character that everyone has their favorite version. It just, not just with cartoons or movies, with comics, video games, like, you know, there's so much Spider-Man media out there that it's just amazing to, it would be almost a surprise that there wouldn't be a version that someone doesn't like. You know what I mean? Do you think they'll introduce the Beyonder in the MCU, given that he's so incredibly powerful? What do you think of RDJ playing Doctor Doom? The Beyonder, I mean, they could, because I mean, the Beyonder does have some ties to, Doctor Doom and also Secret Wars. So I mean, they could, but I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's still like a surprise. They're gonna be filming next month, Doomsday, so we'll have to see. Also, RDJ playing Doom, I'm still not sold on it. I still don't like the idea of it. Um, like I said, if it was up to me, I would have had someone else be Doom. I would have had a Killian Murphy. I would have had someone else play Doom. I just don't think RDJ playing Doom to me just felt too convenient, and it still feels too convenient. Been really loving the parallels shown. What's up, Dawson? You said been really loving the parallels between Peter and Lonnie. Also liked how they would edit them in between intense moments, like the two fights in episode 5. That's another thing that this show does really well. They really do well when it comes to terms to editing and different switches. So like how we had the tarantula and speed demon with the trash can, and then just veering off the buildings, and then you have the big suitcase that's there, right? And then you think that they open the suitcase, and you think they're gonna show off what they got, but then it switches to Peter and Aunt May packing up some of Uncle Ben's stuff, right? Like those little transitions like that, they just, again, they kind of keep you on your toes, so you don't really know what to expect. So I like when shows do that sort of thing where it's kind of like, okay, they show this scene, then they cut to another scene, then they cut back to that scene, then they cut back to that scene. So it keeps you it keeps you going, So I like this show does really well with pacing. My favorite part of these episodes, Peter is in the first suit in the cape and got caught, and him trying the second suit with the jetpack malfunction when he got a hand of it and splat across the yeah, that was funny. Like I said, the prodigy suit, which is the suit with the cape, you can really tell. Like again, that suit wasn't going to work because the cape is too much of a hassle. And then with the Hornet suit, he can't move. He has to be controlled by Norman, and he can't really move. And then he shoots out these little pellet bullets, and it's not him. It's not Spidey. It's not what he's supposed to be. So I like that even though Norman he's trying to help, but also at the same time he's kind of being a hindrance to Peter too in a way because he's not letting him be the Spider-Man that he should be, which I think is kind of like a nice little analogy to how a lot of people feel with Peter Parker in the MCU. Like a lot of people feel like Tony Stark wasn't allowing Peter Parker to be the Peter Parker that maybe he should have been or he could have been or people want him to be. So, you ever notice the alien creature looked like Venom? It could hint Venom coming in the future season, I guess. Well, Hudson Thames, the voice actor, did say something really interesting, and I know he's under some heat right now, but he did mention something about wanting to see Venom and Thanos in like a season 2 or a future season. So there is a possibility that we could see that. I mean, if they're gonna follow the events of what's going on currently in the MCU, but it's kind of like a little different. Who knows? Maybe there is like a Thanos that might show up or something or anything like that. I don't know if they'll do that because I feel like that would just be retreading what they've already done. But maybe there will be a mention of Thanos, and maybe they could do. I don't know because people have always wanted a half of the world being blipped. People have always wanted to have that moment of what happened during the blip. Imagine how cool it would be if they could do like a season where they could do a season where Spider-Man survives during a blip. So maybe it's Spider-Man, maybe it's Daredevil, maybe it's like Luke Cage, like maybe it's some different heroes and stuff that they don't get blipped away, so they have to kind of learn how to adapt into this new world where half the universe is gone. Like maybe they could do something like that. I think that would be really interesting, and I think that would be kind of their way of kind of answering the question for people who wanted like Marvel to explore what happened during the blip and all that. So who knows? I think that would be cool. I don't care if y'all spoil the show. I'm not gonna watch it. All good. Sorry that I missed the stream this past Tuesday. What are your thoughts on the Fantastic Four? I think it looks really good. I really like the Fantastic Four. I like the trailer. I thought the trailer was really good. Really did sell me on the retro futuristic world that they are building upon, and just kind of learning more about these characters. To me, it really does feel like that this. I think this is going to be the Fantastic Four movie that we've wanted for years. And I know people. There's some people who like the old Fantastic Four movies, and there might be a little bit of charm to it that people like, but just based off of this, what we've seen from the trailer has to me exceeded what they've done in the past. And it seems like they've taken a lot of what they learned from those movies and tried to really bring something new to the table. Like the Thing, I can't get over how good the Thing looks. And I've seen set photos of how the Thing looks, and they did kind of like this very naturalistic rock suit, right? They did like a practical suit, which I was hoping they would do for the Thing, because personally, I think a practical suit for the Thing just fits better. So just seeing that, and you still see the little CGI elements when he's moving his mouth and stuff, but it does feel like a very practical thing. And even the sounds, I love when he's clapping and you can hear the rocky sounds of his when he's clapping. Just the little small minute details like that is what adds to the immersion and the experience. Like, you really feels like this is a real life thing that you're in the room with. So I really enjoy the trailer. The visuals look really good. I could go on about the Fantastic Four trailer, but all I'm gonna say is I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four. I'm looking forward to Superman. I'm looking forward to Jurassic World. I'm looking forward to all of these movies, because if all three of those movies can just do really good and do really well, I see it as a W for science fiction, superhero genre, fantasy genre as a whole. I see it as a W, so I'm looking forward to it. The fall of Lonnie and the rise of Tombstone is going to be emotional. Yeah, it is the means to an end, for Lonnie, unfortunately, and it's going to be really saddening. It really is. It's going to be really saddening to see this really dope character just kind of go down this route. And again, it sucks because if had his little brother not gotten into that crowd, he would not have gone through this. So it's going to make you really feel for him even more, the fact that this wasn't his choice in a way. He felt like he had to do what he had to do to protect his brother, which I feel like any sibling would do that. If you have a younger brother or a sister, you would go out of your way to protect them, by any means necessary. How are you? Hey, what's up, Anthony? How are you doing, buddy? I'm excited for the Fantastic Four. I'm glad you're excited for the Fantastic Four. I'm excited too. I'm like really excited. So, um, hopefully we get some more stuff. Hopefully not. They don't reveal too much. What I loved about the teaser for Fantastic Four is that it was 1 minute and 45 seconds. To me, that is the perfect length for a trailer. They sold me. I really, honestly, I don't even know if I want to see a trailer for Fantastic Four, because I feel like they already sold me just based off of the 1 minute and 45 seconds that they showed off. I don't know if I want to see a trailer for that, but I know they're gonna do another trailer. They're gonna do a second trailer probably. They're probably gonna do a final trailer. I don't want it, but if they do another trailer, I'll probably react to that one. But if they do like other trailers outside of that, I probably won't react to it, just for the sake of I don't want too much of the movie being known to me. I want to go into this movie blind. I want to not know who shows up or what's going to happen or the whole plot of the movie. I don't want to know all of that. I just want to go into this experience kind of just expecting anything. Anything could happen. I really hope they introduce Miles Morales in the MCU as a live action film. I don't know if you heard the news, but I'm hearing, and I don't know if true. But I'm hearing the news that Miles Morales is going to be in a rebooted Sony universe. I've been hearing that rumor, which to me is a disappointment because I want Miles in the MCU. I think it's time now. Miles would be perfect for the MCU. You know, if they want to do young, well, they're not. I don't think they're gonna call it Young Avengers. I think they're gonna call it Champions, which Miles is a part of the Champions. I just think it would be perfect to kind of bring Miles in and have that go on. Like, I don't know. I just feel like Sony at this point is just kind of like gatekeeping a lot of the characters and stuff. And it really shows throughout this show, throughout Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, like a lot of the stuff they wanted to do, they weren't able to do. So in this animated show, it feels like a lot of the stuff they wanted to do with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it feels like they're doing it in this show. You said Solomon. Big Donovan is slowly becoming one of my favorite characters. Yeah, he is an interesting character, and like I said, Big Donovan, he does have history with Luke Cage in the comics. He was like a street thug who turned into Luke Cage's lawyer, but then he kind of has like this back and forth. So he kind of has like this life of crime, but also life of being a lawyer to Luke Cage. So Big Donovan is an interesting character. I think you would definitely be interested in his history. I think we'll learn more about Big Donovan too, for sure. I think Donovan could get some enhancements from Dr. Otto Octavius. Yeah, he could. He could, since again, like I said, he does have a villain arc. He has done a lot of stuff in the past, so we'll see. Did you see the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer? Yes, I did. And so far from what I saw, I liked what I saw. I know people are very skeptical because this is like a new, Jurassic World, and the last Jurassic World we had wasn't that good. But I'm willing to give it a chance. It's a new thing, and I forgot who it was, but I said like because we're always gonna be scared when it comes to things that we know being brought back in a different way, and we're gonna be scared because we're worried that it's gonna be the same way that it was before. This won't be as good as the original, and sometimes, unfortunately, not everything can be as good as the original. Sometimes things can be appreciated for a different level of storytelling, and that's the way I see things. And because think about it from this angle. Could you imagine? I can only imagine how scared people are of getting a new Superman movie. I could imagine how scared people feel, when it comes to that, because they're not sure how this Superman movie is going to be. They don't know if this Superman movie is going to be good. Like I understand people being a little bit concerned, or a little bit, anxious, but also at the same time, what makes this dope is that you can bring new life to a character that we've known for all these years, and who knows, it could bring some new elements to things that we haven't seen before. So that's why I'm like always willing to try to give stuff a chance, unless you're Velma. Unless you're Velma, but that's a whole other thing. But like, I'm willing to give stuff a chance to try to see what new things they can come up with. If I end up liking it, that's cool. If I don't end up liking it, it's fine. It's not gonna kill my momentum of enjoying that franchise because they did certain choices that I didn't like. It's just they did certain choices I didn't like. I didn't agree with it, and that's okay. Harry said Unicorn is some kind of retired athlete. I don't know nothing about this character in the comics. I don't know too much about the Unicorn. I know that the Unicorn has faced off with Iron Man before, which Rhino did mention Iron Man, and he did mention Captain America, which that's going to be interesting too because Rhino literally told Spidey, he said, don't think we're friends. Don't think this is over. I'm still going to jail, but just best believe when I get out of jail, I hope I don't see you because when I see you, it's on sight. That's literally what Rhino said. So it's going to be interesting to see when Rhino does get out of jail. What kind of plans are they gonna do with him? Because I feel like them saying that he's not done. We're gonna see him come back. Let's see what you guys are saying. I'm still against Sue and Reed giving Franklin Galactus. That's messed up, and the people who want that are messed up, and should not convince me otherwise. Yeah, like that's the thing. We don't really know what's going to happen. Is he going? Are they going to give up Franklin? Is there going to be another way out of this? Are they just gonna abort the mission and go to another universe? Because to me, it seems like Reed Richards. If Reed Richards is really one of the most intelligent Marvel characters of all time, like they say he is, then I'm sure Reed Richards would probably have some kind of fail safe, just in case if something like that was to happen. That with him on the chalkboard, which I'm so glad. Another attention to detail that I want to bring up. I'm so glad that they had him writing on a chalkboard instead of writing on a holographic, you know, instead of writing on a holographic board, because they could have easily done that, but no, he's writing on a chalkboard, like so classic, right? And I hope that's a trait for Reed Richards in the MCU that they keep. Don't have him write on a holographic board. Have him still writing on a chalkboard, because to me that just adds to this Reed Richards, what he's known, what he's done all these years, and it just adds to his character and his growth, and also kind of reminding himself of his old universe, what he used to do. So I don't want them to change him, writing on a holographic board. Keep him on that blackboard, writing with chalk. I love little things like that. So, but Franklin being given to Galactus, that's something we'll have to see. Like I said, I think they're gonna leave the universe. I don't think that universe is going to get eaten up or something else is going to happen to it, and they're going to have to escape. And I would imagine they're going to keep Franklin with them, because Franklin he's an Omega level mutant, right? He's Omega level threat. So this is also their way to kind of also bring in the X-Men, because we know the X-Men are coming. There's already rumors of casting right now. Like there's literally rumors out there. I don't believe it because it's from Jeff Snyder, so I don't believe a word that he says. But there's rumors of like him, possibly X-Men being filmed in 2026. We'll have to see if that's legitimately true or not, because right now it's just rumor casting. So again, we'll have to see, but I don't believe it. I doubt Nico will get her powers here in this universe and show. Just saying. I mean, there is a possibility that she may not. She may just still be a character. Although I do think it's really interesting that in that scene at the movie theater, she goes down to her necklace and she says, don't worry. Like, don't worry about it. So it seems like they are kind of leaning into a little tease of her power, but we may not see her get her powers. Again, it's just a matter of how they do it. But um, her parents, we saw her parents, two times actually. There's a picture in her room at the foster care that she stays in. There's a picture of her parents there. And then she had a picture of her parents on her phone waiting for Peter at the movie theater. So I don't know if they're going to bring her parents up. We do know that in the prequel comic that, she was from LA and she moved from LA to have a better life. We do know that. So that could be an implication that her parents, because in the comics her parents are villains. They do some very evil stuff. So maybe she knew about the stuff that her parents were doing and she felt like this was her way to kind of get away from that. She doesn't want any ties to that. So we'll see if maybe that plays a part. Only time will tell. Anyone notice Matt Gargan flicked off Big Don before the fight happened? Don't know if there's an unedited version out there, like I saw in some reactions, but I thought it was a nice detail. Yeah, I did see that. I believe in my episode when I first watched it, that was something I noticed like straight away, that he flipped the bird at Big Don, and I was like, oh snap! Like for people who thought that this show was going to be kiddie, like this show is definitely not kiddie by any means. Like this is definitely a show that, teenagers, young adults, adults can even watch because you get these elements. There are some themes in here that kind of play off realistic, things that happen, but also there are moments where you see Peter like literally by the unicorn getting squished to death. Like this is Kingpin trying to squish him. So you do see moments like that, and you're this show is definitely not kiddie by any means. Did you ever talk to Jordan Hudson? I did not. I didn't have the time to. Again, I've been really busy lately. I've been really busy just trying to cook up content for you guys and just also with my own personal life. So I just haven't really had the time, but I'll try to get in contact with them, Parker. But yeah, also, again, we got some more alternate title screens and stuff, which I love the title screens. I think it's amazing that each episode has its own unique title screen. It feels like you're reading a comic book. Like it really does feel like you're picking up a comic book and you're reading that issue and then you're moving on to the next issue. And that's something that this show does really well. Like the panels. I love the comic book panels. Like in the beginning with Norman Osborn, right? When he says, "Oh, so you're Spider-Man." And that's all Peter hears in his head is Norman saying, "So you're Spider-Man, right?" You see the panels behind him, and it's like he's doing things in the background. He's kind of going about his day. So I love that this show is able to take little, things like that and use that as an element to the art in this. The fight scenes. I also want to get into the fight scenes in this show too. The fight scenes in this show are incredible. Like that Speed Demon and Tarantula fight scene is just amazing. Like there's a lot of moves that he did that remind me so much of like playing the Spider-Man games on PlayStation, right? Like there's like he did like a double web and then he flipped off of Tarantula. Like that's definitely a move that you would do in the Spider-Man PS4 game, right? So when you see things like that, it just adds more reference to Spider-Man media, old and new, that just it blends it really well. Sorry for my angry rant of the Fantastic Four about Sue and Reed giving you're good, man. You're good. I understand. I understand. Everybody is a little bit worried about certain things, and like I said, we all have things that we worry about. So you're fine, Carter. You're stating your opinion, and you bring some interesting points. But yeah, like I said, the fight scenes in the show are just incredible. Like I really am really like looking forward to next week's episodes because we got the Daredevil episode, and I you guys know Daredevil is probably like my second favorite Marvel character. Like I love Daredevil. I think Daredevil is just as amazing as Spider-Man is, and there's a lot of great Daredevil stories as there is Spider-Man stories, and you know, it's just great to see so much Daredevil content in the matter of 10 years, right? Like we have Daredevil Born Again, then we have Daredevil showing up in the next batch of these episodes next week, and I'm sure we're gonna get more Daredevil stuff. I would love to see a Daredevil animated series. I've been voicing for it for a while, and I hope Marvel does capitalize on doing a Daredevil animated series because I would love it. I would love to see it. You get Charlie Cox. You can get Charlie Cox. You can get Deborah Allen Wolf to voice Karen, and you can get what's his name that plays Foggy. You guys know the actor I'm talking about. Like you can get all of them to voice the characters. Like they don't have to do all of the work and stuff. Like they can just voice the characters, and all the animators have to do is just go from there. Like I would love to see, maybe like Daredevil face off with um, some different heroes, some different villains that we haven't seen, in the live action stuff that they could probably pull off in the animated stuff, right? So we almost got it. We almost got a Daredevil animated series too. I did a video about that last year. If you guys want to check that out, it's a pretty good video. Pretty good video. Um, but yeah, the people want that will be mad saying they failed saving the Earth and blaming Franklin. Sorry, I can't fit all of this in one. Yeah, I mean, with Galactus, I mean, it's hard to save a world when you have somebody like Galactus that can literally just eat up a planet like it's nothing, right? I don't know if there's anything really they can do to save their Earth besides all that they can do to try to protect it. But they're gonna have to come to a decision. Are we gonna have to save this Earth, or are we gonna have to get out with our own lives attached? And yeah, people would think that's selfish, but think about it this way: if you're given a choice to stay on a planet, say stay on a planet where something catastrophic has happened, you're given the choice to stay there or go to a different universe where there isn't anything like that going on. Although there is something on the rise that's going to happen that's going to cause a catastrophic event. But are you going to risk that chance of staying there and sacrificing your son? Or are you going to move to that universe to start a new life with your family because you love your family and family comes first? And even with Sue Storm, the line she said in the trailer, it's about the family. We're always going to be family. Like that line that she says to me tells me that this movie is simply about the Marvel's first family. They're going to do as much as they can to try to save the universe and save their Earth, but it's going to come to a point where it's going to be how much of it can they save until they say like we've done all that we can do. You know, you've done all that you can do. You have to escape for our own sake. You know, I don't know. Jurassic Park will look like it might hurt my dreams. Well, like I said, you never know. Like you never know if Jurassic Park will be good or be bad. I mean, if you look at the trailer, you might like the trailer, you might not like the trailer, but I like I said, all I can hope is that the Jurassic World movie is good. I can hope. I can only hope. Um, I can't really say for sure if it's gonna be good or bad because I haven't seen the movie. None of us have seen the movie, so I just want to keep my expectations very neutral when it comes to stuff because um, I want to give stuff a chance. I'd rather move to another universe than giving up my kid to Galactus. I'll flip him off and escape. See, that's the thing. See, that's the choice that the Fantastic Four are gonna have to make, and I think they're gonna be like you. They're gonna say like, you know what, Galactus, we're not giving you our son. He's a part of our family. Franklin means a lot to us. So they're gonna have to do what they have to do. Rather, people may think it's selfish or anything like that. But again, when you come with a choice, sometimes you have to figure out what choice is best for you. When Lonnie was waiting for Pearl to get out of school with the flower, the song in the background should have been Genuine Pony. Oh man, that's funny. I think the song that they had in the background was really good. I was kind of vibing with it, not gonna lie. I thought it was pretty chill, and I thought that was a really sweet moment. Lonnie doing that. Like, my mom's gonna kill me because these are her roses, but I wanted to give you one because I love you, and you definitely tell like Lonnie does love Pearl. Like he really does love her, and I wish in some kind of way I know he feels like he can't tell anyone about what's going on. But it just really makes you wish like man, if he only met Spider-Man, earlier into what was going on, like if he only met Spider-Man, maybe Spider-Man could, save him from that situation. Like again, but then again, what if he did? What if Peter wasn't prepared for what was going to happen? So again, it gives you those little questions of what could have happened if he told Spider-Man earlier about what was going on with his brother. What could have happened if he did get involved? Would he have been prepared for that? Would it have been a lost cause at that moment? Would he have just not been ready to take on that kind of threat? Those are some good questions that, kind of makes you wonder. When Rhino gets out of jail, he's going to get the Rhino suit made by Oscorp. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, he told Peter. He said, "When I get out of jail, I better not see you because it's on sight when I see you." Like he legit told Peter that. So we're definitely gonna see him in his Rhino suit the next time for sure. Judging by her fight and style, do you think she's more skilled than Captain America and Daredevil? Let's see. The unicorn? Are you referring to the unicorn? New rock stars, Ross think they'll do it. Don't listen to him. Yeah, I don't really. Here's the thing about new rock stars. Like new rock stars, it's cool to watch their content to kind of learn about maybe certain Easter eggs you might not have known. But I do feel like new rock stars, Screen Crush, some of those channels like that, I do feel like sometimes they kind of veer off of people's expectations of what they think could happen because it happens in the comics. And the thing about the MCU is the MCU has never been this comic accurate universe. They've always taken little bits and pieces from the comics as inspiration, but they've never did a one to one. So when you have channels like New Rockstars, which again, this isn't any New Rockstars. I think they're cool people over there. They make good content. But when you have, channels like that that kind of say certain things like, oh, in the comics, Galactus did this, this, and this. So maybe he'll show up in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like when you say things like that, you get people thinking that you're saying that they are in those projects and they're not in those projects. So sometimes there's like a miscommunication when certain things come out because it's kind of like gets people like, oh, are you saying they're going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars? So it's kind of like you're making it seem like certain things at Marvel, which I'm sure they probably have friends at Marvel, I'm sure. But also at the same time, it's kind of like, again, you're kind of putting out this expectation for people. And when it doesn't happen, then it's kind of like you backtrack on it and say, like, well, this isn't what we thought was going to happen. Well, it's a theory, you know what I mean? Like, it's a theory. You have to say, like, this is a theory. This isn't something that's set in stone. This doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. And sometimes I'll credit them. They have said that sometimes. But then there's also been times where they haven't said that. And then there's been people who go into these films thinking that certain things are going to happen and it doesn't happen. So a lot of the times I watch them for the Easter egg stuff, but I don't really like going into the videos where they're talking about here's what we think is going to happen in Captain America Brave New World. Here's what we think is going to happen in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like, I don't really watch those videos because I don't really want to know about what happens in those movies. I don't really want to know. Like, I want to go into stuff not knowing. I want to go into the movies knowing some stuff, like a little bit of stuff, but I don't want to go in knowing the whole plot and premise and the third act and the first act and who's appearing and all of that. I don't want to go into all that because I think the problem with these movies sometimes is I feel like there's a lot of extra knowledge that gets put out there. And sometimes that knowledge isn't always factual. It's not always true. So that's something you have to be careful of when it comes to certain content. You want to make sure that with certain content that it's something that you understand, like this is them theorizing stuff. This is them saying what they think is going to happen. This isn't set in stone. This isn't what Marvel said is going to happen. So I think it's best to kind of go into it with that mindset and not take everything verbatim what they say because not everything in the comics has panned out to how it is in the MCU. There's been a lot of instances where that has happened. So that's my advice. I love how the show continues to subvert expectations to keep it fresh. like Peter and Harry. They actually found more common ground after Harry finds out he becomes the dude at the desk. Yeah, like they're both fans of Captain America. You know, they both in some ways are both loners, right? So it does that approach where it's not like, you know, you see little remnants of Norman being a bit unappreciative of his son, but it's never as far as right now, it's never been anything where Norman has said like, "Oh, you're a disappointment to me, son." Like it's never been anything like that. Like Norman Osborn in the comics, it's like he straight up hates his son. He wished his son never existed. He's told Harry like, "You're a disappointment. Why can't you be like Peter Parker? I wish Peter Parker was my son." Like he straight up has said a lot of those things to Harry in the comics, right? And although Peter Parker and Harry are friends, but it's just like you it's just the immediate hate. You kind of see it a little bit in this show with that scene with Norman there and Harry there, but also at the same time it's kind of like he's my son. I got to give my son something to do. So let me do this, right? Like let him be on Team Spider-Man, which you could tell by Peter's, body language. He was kind of like looking at Peter Norman like, "Huh? What are you doing? What are we doing? Like, are you serious?" So I don't think Peter was really on board with it, but when he started to learn more about Harry, he started to be like, "You know what? This guy's cool. I like Harry Osborn." So there's a scene in the trailer. We haven't seen it yet, but we know there's going to be a scene where Nico is actually going to get used to Harry, I think, because there's a scene where they're at Aunt May's apartment. Peter's there, Harry's there, and Nico is there, and they're all laughing at something. I don't know what they're laughing about. Maybe it's from the movie that they watched. Maybe that was them just coming back from the movie that they watched, and they were laughing about what happened in the movie. Maybe that's what they do. But we do know that scene exists, so there's going to be some kind of interaction with the three of them, extended to what we've seen, at the end of the final episode. I also love when Spider-Man got beat up by Speed Demon. Osborn starts talking to him, and he's like, "God, it's me. I'm Spider-Man." God, he's like, "God, is that you? It's me. I'm Spider-Man. I'm dying." Yeah, yeah, it is funny. Like he's just laying there, and Norman Osborn's like, "Peter, Spider-Man, are you there?" And he's like, "God, is that you?" Like it's those little funny quips and moments like that that just gives Peter Parker like that that's just screams Spider-Man to me. Just the little quips and puns like that, those little small jokes, it adds to Peter Parker's history of his quips and him being very quick when it comes to that sort of thing. But I'm a little disappointed that Peter and Harry are not best friends in this universe. But they could build their friendship and become like brothers. I think they will. I think just off the scene where Peter's climbing on the building, right? Just off that scene where they're talking about Captain America. And then he's like, "Oh shoot, I'm late for the movie." And then he invites him to the movie theater. Like to me that scene alone just tells me like they're going to build up that friendship eventually. They're not going to do it in one episode. It's probably going to take them some time to develop that friendship. I hope we get set photos of Avengers Doomsday so we can so we can see what will happen. I mean, there definitely is going to be, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be some misdirection set photos because they did that with Infinity War and Endgame, right? There were a lot of like misleading images and stuff. Like I don't know if you guys remember the set image that there was, and it was like a big briefcase. I think it was like an orange briefcase, which people thought that was going to be like a big plot point in the film, and then you find out it had nothing to do with the film. So they're definitely going to try to do these like misleading photos because they don't want the movie to be spoiled. We know there's going to be a lot of characters appearing and returning and all that stuff in that film, so they're going to do as much as they can. Don't be surprised if they pull a Deadpool and Wolverine where we get we get like little story details of what's going to happen, and they don't actually happen. Deadpool Wolverine. There's this whole thing with Magneto was going to be the villain of the film, right? We found out that wasn't going to be the case, and that was a lie. And they're kind of doing the same thing with Spider-Man 4 right now, which I'm still like, what in the world are they doing with that film? There's just been so many rumored reports with that film that just don't make sense, that just don't add up. Like I said, the whole Ghost Rider and Mephisto thing, like what? Then you have, like I said, the what was it, Daredevil and Ant-Man? Like Ant-Man was supposed to show up in Spider-Man 4. That was a thing at one time. Then they had, what was it, something about the Beyonder showing up in Spider-Man 4. Like there's been so much stuff that's been said about that movie that it's just like, to me, I feel like they're just misleading people. They don't want people to know what's going to happen. And I think that's a smart thing on Marvel's behalf, because I feel like there's a lot of insiders and scoopers and leakers and stuff that are putting out different plot points of certain films that may or may not happen, and people see that and expect it. But when you go to see the movie and it's completely different than what you thought it was going to be, then it's like, oh dang. So they're not as accurate, they're not as on point as I thought they were. So I think Marvel's trying to get out of that habit of, getting, having these people put out this information and it may or may not be true. He said you have 3 seconds to you have 3 seconds to get your ass off my turf, and it had me cracking up. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was funny. We might hear Don drop the F word talking about Spider-Man. I mean, he might. You know, Don just seems like Don is definitely one of those guys that you don't want to mess with. If you saw him on the street and you bumped into him, I think you better walk the other way, because if not, you're in trouble. So he gives me Ice Cube vibes a little bit. How Ice Cube used to, play in movies and stuff. He kind of gives me that vibe a little bit. You need a JaceTheDon Discord. I mean, I would love to do a Discord in the future. I just I don't know how to really set up a Discord. Like, I'm in Discords with some friends and stuff, but I've never really set up one before. But I do want to in the future. I would love to set up a Discord. Maybe we do like watch alongs. So maybe if a Marvel show or something comes out, maybe we could do like a watch along of the Marvel show and kind of give our thoughts on the show. I think that'd be kind of cool. I would love to do something like that. So like I said, I'm the opportunity and stuff is open. I just gotta find some people and stuff to try to help me get a Discord going. But I definitely want to get one set up in the future. You said, However, I do have a few things when Avengers Doomsday set photos will drop on what photo and what scene or what fight scenes. Yeah, like I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people speculating about this stuff. Like when the Superman set photos dropped, a lot of people speculated about what's going to happen and stuff. So I'm sure we're gonna get some stuff, and I'm sure there's gonna be people who leak certain things and spoil certain things and stuff. Uh, that's why when this movie comes out, I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna bother to watch any videos or anything on YouTube about Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, because I don't want to get spoiled on those movies. Because I there has been channels where they've spoiled movies. John Campia is one of those. Like I said, I've mentioned it before. I told the story, but when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, like people had theories that Toby and Andrew were gonna show up, but there was nothing really set in stone. Like there was nothing really set concrete that it was gonna happen, unless you watch the trailers, which the trailers also gave away so much. I really don't like those trailers because again they gave away too much. I feel like all they needed was one trailer for No Way Home, because all you had to do was kind of play into people's suspense of belief. Were they going to show up? You know, was this going to happen? Was this something that we were all playing with in our heads? You know, they should have really leaned into that shit. They should have tricked people. And I feel like they made it way too evident in the trailers. That whole scene with the lizard, right? They made it too obvious. We obviously knew that there were other people swinging on webs, and they just, again, they made it too obvious, and people kind of figured it out. And then it didn't really help that all the people were interviewing the actors and stuff, and following them at the airport. You know, I know you guys have seen the memes with Toby Maguire, and someone's filming him, and he's looking back at the camera, and he's like, "I'm watching you. Like, I know you're filming me. Can you stop filming me?" Like, there was so much. That was a crazy time. There was so much going on, so much right and so much wrong. And I think that, to me, the John Campea thing really took the cake. I mean, he's apologized for it. He's told the whole story on his channel. But I mean, I was in his live stream, and I'm sitting up here thinking to myself, like, did he really just leak the movie? Because there was like a legit image of Toby and Andrew there, and then he went on about Toby's crotch, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, come on, like. And then he tried to say, "Oh no, this isn't real set photos. This is concept art." And then we come to find out, no, that was legit a real photo from the movie, and it was just like. So I mean, when I saw it in theaters, I was still like, "Oh man, this is dope. They're in the movie," but at the same time, I was just like, "Man, like." I wish I had not seen that John Campea episode. Like, why did I have to see that? Now I know they're in there, you know? And again, like I said, there was just so much in that era that I wish they would have just played on people's suspense of belief. Were they actually going to be in the movie? Like, they should have done, a whole thing with that just to play people off. So, I just don't want that to be another thing that happens with these Avengers films. Because if so, I don't know how. I mean, the hype will still be there, but I just don't think people will be ultimately as surprised, because of the fact. What I will say with Deadpool and Wolverine, what I think they did really well is they didn't really show the characters that we were going to see appear. Obviously, we saw some, and we did see the trailer with X-23. We did see Laura in there, so I know a lot of people definitely got upset about Laura being in there, which I understand. Like, they probably shouldn't have showed her in a trailer, and I hope Marvel has learned from that. Like, don't show extra characters in trailers just to build up hype. People are already hyped about the movie. And so, what I love about Deadpool and Wolverine is that I didn't know Blade was going to be there. I didn't know Gambit was going to be in the movie. I didn't know Jennifer Gardner's Elektra was going to be in there. I didn't know that Johnny Storm, Chris Evans' Johnny Storm, was going to be in the film. Like, to me, that's why I was so satisfied with just how they did the cameos in that film. Like, they just didn't make it like a one-off, like a family reunion where you see that one cousin, and that one cousin is like, "Hey, do you remember me from, we used to play in the sandbox, make sandcastles from back in the day." They didn't do that. Like, each character served their purpose in the film and had a small miniature story that you could have some interest in. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see those characters come back. I genuinely think, especially when it comes to Channing Tatum's Gambit, I would not be surprised if we see him come back in some shape or form, because people like that character. They like the, "Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here." Like, people like that. So I'm not surprised if Marvel does decide to bring him back for a cameo in Secret Wars and stuff. You know what I mean? So I, you know, I just don't want to know anything about the Avengers films. I don't want to know who appears. I don't want to know who's showing up. I don't want to know who Doom kills at the end of Secret Wars. I don't want to know any of that. So, yeah. Man, Franklin is going to give Galactus the belt. I mean, he could. I could see it, but I hope not because I want Franklin to. I want him to keep the belt. I really do. I really do want him to keep the belt. Yeah, I have my own theories on those set photos when they drop on the internet. Yeah, yeah. Earlier I was talking about Unicorn and her fighting style. Yeah, her fighting style is like very. She's definitely an athlete because when she leaped out of the van, even Rhino, he was like, well, dang, maybe she is the wild card, you know? Uh, and then she was doing all kinds of. She had some kind of super strength because the way she threw Peter to that car and his back hit that car, it just tells me like, yeah, she has some kind of like strength. And I don't know if maybe it's because she works out a lot and she's built up that strength, or maybe the helmet gives her that extra strength. I'm not sure. I don't know that much about Unicorn to know. I don't know. New Rock Stars, they're okay. I just think they may be high when they. I don't think it's that. I just think that with a lot of channels, they're they they're very passionate about the content that they make. It seems. I won't put that past them. They seem very passionate about the content that they make. But also at the same time, I feel like maybe sometimes they get a little too crazy into the theories, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming for the casual audience. So that's why when I like talk with you guys, I kind of ask what you guys think. And if I have my own theory, I voice it, but I don't want to make it to where it's extremely overwhelming for you guys. And it's like you're trying to you're trying to compute so much at the same time, and then it's like a force fed. It's like a big spoonful of food just being fed to you. And you're trying to swallow it all down, but it's like you can't because there's so much, right? And that sounds very weird. Why did I use that analogy? But you guys know what I'm saying. Don't panhandle on the internet. Yeah. I'm excited to see the Super Bowl trailers during the Super Bowl, like Mission Impossible. I'm a huge fan of the series. Not sure if we're getting a new trailer or just an ad. We might be getting a new trailer. I don't know if you saw Nostalgic Times, but there was a new photo that came out for Mission Impossible, which I'm actually going to be reacting to some of the trailers. Not just the Marvel trailers, but Mission Impossible. If we get some other trailers, I might be reacting to those. So I might be doing a back to back of trailer reactions. So you guys stay tuned for the Super Bowl because I'm gonna be doing a lot of trailer reactions and stuff. So I think Mission Impossible might be getting a trailer. So if so, I will definitely do a reaction to Mission Impossible because I do love the Mission Impossible franchise. Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is a really great actor, and he's done a lot of great things throughout his career. And so yeah, I'm curious about what they're gonna do with this next Mission Impossible. I can't stand Screen Crush because they may like the new rock stars. They stand them being like as long as they're having fun. Like again, like I said, like even with the Screen Crush and stuff, like they get so overwhelmed into the theories and stuff that they kind of make it off as a fact. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know them. I've never met any of them personally, so I can't really go based off of that. But I will say, like, sometimes for the casual viewer, it does become overwhelming for a lot of people because they're thinking that this is going to happen in these movies and it doesn't turn out that way or anything. So, again, I just keep your expectations, always keep your expectations unknown. That's what I tell people now. Keep your expectations unknown because you never know what's going to happen. Um, Anything can happen. Yeah, I saw that photo. I'm concerned for Benji in that photo. Yeah, I'm concerned too. I hope nothing happens to him. I hope nothing happens to Benji, but I do feel you. It does look a little concerning. So we'll see what that scene's gonna be about. Sorry for standing up for a screen crush like that. No, you're fine. You're fine. Like I said, everybody has someone that they watch, and I'm not saying what I'm saying to tell people that you shouldn't watch them. Like, if you watch them and you enjoy them, go for it. Like, again, but I'm just saying, like, just keep your expectations unknown because you never know, right? You never know what may happen, and again, not everything that people say is what exactly is going to happen. Like even with me, if I say something, I don't want you to always take what I say as or I don't even want you to take what I say as a fact because again, I don't know anything. I'm just going based off of things that I'm connecting the pieces of that might be something that happens and I might be completely wrong. I might be in completely a different orbit of planets of my theories. So just go into it with your own expectations in mind and your own theories because when you do, you ultimately don't have to worry about feeling like, oh man, I feel a little bit underhanded because I heard this and then it didn't happen. The Mission Impossible movie comes out on the day I go on vacation, so I'll see it when I'm on vacation. Hey, that you know what? That's the best time to go see a movie. That is the best time to go see a movie is on vacation. Matter of fact, I would love to take another vacation. I took one last year. I went to the beach. Uh, March. It was April. No, it was April. Because when I took a vacation, it was around the same weekend of WrestleMania 40, which oh man, WrestleMania 40 was such a great time last year. Such a great time. But yeah, I was at the beach then. I had a great time. I actually wanted to go to the movies at the beach because there's like a movie theater in the mall, but I didn't go. So, you know, maybe that's something I'll do the next time. Like I said, I definitely want to go on vacation. I definitely want to travel this year. So, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's the best time to go see it while you're on vacation. And I hope it's a good movie while you're on vacation. Like I really do hope it's one of those movies that it's also a plus because not only are you on vacation, but you got to see a really dope movie on vacation too. Like that's another plus. So, yeah. Because, like I said, we got the Puppy Bowl thing with Superman. I'm kind of curious about what that's going to be. It's probably going to be a crypto related scene, so we'll find out. And like I said, I'll react to that. And then when we get the trailers on Sunday, like I said, if it's Mission Impossible, I'll react to that. If there's something else, I'll react to it. So, like I said, I'll be doing back to back trailer reactions. Thunderbolts, well, looks like it'll be a hit, and the writers of the movie wrote the Netflix series Beef. It's bound to be good. Yeah, I've heard good things about Beef. I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things about it, so I think I'll check it out. And I know I was a little skeptical on the Thunderbolts beforehand, but I think now, like, I'm very curious about the Thunderbolts. I'm very curious about what route they're going to take as far as like the characters, and I want Thunderbolts to be good. You know, I still have the theory that they won't be the Thunderbolts forever. They're definitely going to be another team. So we'll have to see. I just saw the runtime for the movie. It's 2 hours, and I expect it to be just as long as the seventh one. Yeah, for sure. I imagine this movie is gonna be action packed, just like a lot of the Mission Impossible movies are obviously action packed. But I could definitely see them maybe going up on a different level this time around. Big Donovan acts like he's more from Philly than New York. I could see that. I could see why you may say that. I'm also worried about Luther. After the line he had about no regrets in the first trailer, here's my other favorite character aside from Ethan. Has been with us since day one. Yeah. What's up, Toby? What's up, man? I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. I hope you're doing good, Toby. If you guys don't know Toby, follow him on Twitter. Amazing artwork. He actually did a piece with the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man in his homemade suit with the Daredevil design. So if you guys haven't seen that, check out that artwork and also check out his other artwork. You guys won't be disappointed at all. I think you have. Do you have your Twitter linked in with your page, Toby? I think you might. I think you might. He might have his Twitter linked in with his in his description. So if so, you check it out from there. Big Donovan was in an old Luke Cage comic I had. Yeah, I was just mentioning that earlier. That Big Donovan was a Luke Cage. He's a part of Luke Cage and stuff. Of course, man. Of course, man. Yeah, you do great artwork, Toby. Yeah, I want you to get recognition. You're a great guy. Um, so yeah, speaking about what you said earlier, Ice Cube would have been perfect. Voicing Big Don, that would have been really funny. Yeah, like I said, Big Donovan gives me Ice Cube vibes, like he does, and certain things that he says, but also his mannerisms too. So I definitely could have seen Ice Cube voicing him. I mean, when he played Superfly in Mutant Mayhem, like he was a dope villain. I'm not gonna lie to you, he was a dope villain. So hopefully he comes back as Superfly in Mutant Mayhem too, um, because I like this character. That's fine to being concerned about Thunderbolts. At first, this is my uh, my thanks for easing my concerns about Jurassic Park Rebirth world domination flop. Yeah, like I said, every franchise has that period where they're unsure of if the next thing is going to be good because of the previous thing being not so good, right? Everybody has that. But if you're willing to kind of see it from the perspective of, this is a new take, this is a new thing, this is a new story, I want to, test out the waters. I want to see if this is good. If I like this, I'll keep with it. If they continue to make more movies on it, I'll keep seeing more movies. If it's not good, then it's kind of like, okay, well, this wasn't for me, and that's okay. I'll just stick to watching the original, Jurassic Park films and stuff, Like I said, Hollywood, and I say it all the time, Hollywood and anything you do in life is about taking risk. If you don't take that risk to try to do something new, something innovative, try to make it a good story, compelling, right? You're not going to be able to know what you could get if you don't try. Imagine Big Don fighting Spider-Man like he's yeah. I mean, who knows? There might be a fight with Spidey and Big Don. That's something that could happen. Maybe that's kind of like a maybe that's kind of like where we'll see where Lonnie's loyalty lies, because that was an interesting line that Big Donovan said about, once I know that you're loyal, then I'll let you know more stuff. You know, I kind of feel like Lonnie is gonna have to learn. Lonnie's gonna have to come with a test. And even though he had that test with Scorpion, I still don't know if that's gonna be enough to prove his loyalty to Big Donovan. So when it comes to time where is Lonnie gonna, see Spidey's point? Not knowing that that's Peter Parker. Is he gonna try to save Spider-Man? Or is he gonna be on Big Donovan's side? You know, that's gonna be a fight between Lonnie and Peter, even though they don't really know of each other in that manner. Maybe that's something they do, but obviously Peter if they don't change Lonnie's appearance in the show, if we don't see him with his lighter skin or anything like that, he's obviously gonna know who Lonnie is, but he can't say he knows Lonnie because that would take away him. You know, too many people already know he's Spider-Man, right? Like too many people already know he's Spider-Man. Norman knows and Harry knows, and I'm sure he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want other people to know. So there, you have that whole like conflicting thing of I know this kid. I know him. Like he's my friend. He's my lab partner. But then at the same time, as Spider-Man, it's like I can't let him know who I am because that would take away my whole persona. You know. So it's going to be a very conflicting thing that again is going to be very saddening. Lonnie is going to the dark side is going to be so tragic. Yeah, it is going to be so tragic. And like you said, like the point you made, Toby, all because his little brother could not all because his little brother could not stay out of trouble. So now, like I said, it just all boils back to like I said, real life situations because real life situations happen like this where you may have a family member that they may get into something that they can't get themselves out of, so now that family member may have to come in and take the position of that person because that person got themselves into a situation they shouldn't have gotten themselves into in the first place. And Lonnie being this nice guy, he made that sacrifice for his brother. And it's just really sad that he had to make that sacrifice in that way for his brother because his brother was the one that messed up. But Punisher versus Big Don, who wins? Punisher. That's easy. Punisher won't have to do too much. Punisher won't have to do too much at all. I think Jurassic Rebirth will be better than the last one. Like I said, based off the trailer, it feels like they're going in that direction of what they did with the first Jurassic World movie, but differently. So I definitely see this one could be better. So again, we'll just have to see. But yeah, Big Donovan, he's a very interesting character, and stuff when you read about him. Doc Ock looks clean. Yeah, he does. I'm so glad they gave him his comic accurate design. Seeing him with that trench coat on, with the green and yellow suit, like it feels like straight out of that era of the Steve Ditko era. You know what I mean? So I'm glad they kept him with the designs and a little small detail that I like. You can see the little shine in his glasses, his sunglasses. I like that, and it reminds me so much of in Spider-Man 2, with Doc Ock, and you see Spider-Man coming, yeah. His voice is also reminiscent of 90s Spider-Man animated series. Yeah, it is. It is. Shout out to Hugh Dancy. He voices uh, um, Dr. Otto Octavius. And even that line, just that line where he's saying, he's like, Tony Stark gets all the recognition, Bruce Banner, Norman Osborn, but one day people will revere the name Dr. Otto Octavius. When he said that line, that reminded me so much of those like Silver Age comics days because that's how they talked back then. They used a lot of those big words and phrases to kind of show like, yeah, I am that guy. Like they talked in these like long monologues and stuff. So I definitely see Dr. Otto Octavius being someone who has these like long monologues about what he plans to do and all of that stuff because that's like classic comic book villainy stuff. Daredevil versus Big Don. Daredevil will win. Daredevil will easily win that fight. Yo, what's up, Marvel fan? Welcome to the stream, man. Did not know there was a stream. Sorry for ghosting on the last stream. I got really busy out of nowhere. All good, man. Last stream we talked about Fantastic Four. I don't know if you were here, but uh, yeah, you said you weren't here. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts about the Fantastic Four trailer. What did you think about it and stuff? But I think you were here though. I thought at least I thought you were here. But if not, I'd love to hear about your Fantastic Four teaser trailer thoughts and what you thought of the episodes from yesterday. Sorry for ghosting on. Yeah, you're good, man. I get you get busy and stuff. But I'm glad you're here. But I hope they do stuff with Quick because I'm not a fan of the one source behind every villain trope, like Oscorp and the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Yeah. Well, I did see an article where they're gonna tease, like they're so the plan is, from what I heard, is they're gonna tease Doc Ock, but they're not really going to make him the central villain. So they're probably gonna play the long game with Otto. So I would imagine maybe he's the big bad for the next season. So maybe we get a whole thing. So my with season one, it seems like they're planting the seeds with Doc Ock. Like he's in the universe. Peter's gonna find out like this is where all the stuff is coming from. Maybe there's more villains out there who gets more tech, and he's kind of has to come down to figuring out where is this all coming from. So I could see a situation where they hold off until the next season and have built up Doc Ock to be the main villain of that season. Because we know that Norman Osborn, he's gonna be that guy, for this season, I would imagine. And then maybe they have Green Goblin go off for a while, and maybe he comes back and stuff. They could. There's different things they could do. But from what I heard, they're not going to explore Doc Ock too much in this season. They're going to do it next season. Daredevil is going to make him gas out. Donovan's too big to be fighting him. Yeah, for sure. Like, this is Daredevil we're talking about. Agility, uh, his senses and stuff. Like, Daredevil's, he got it all the way. Like, it's not even a discussion. The episodes were great, especially the last one. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy the episodes. Like, yeah, they're great episodes. The show just keeps getting better and better. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it, and I'm really looking forward to next week's episodes because I really think next week's episodes are gonna be even more than what we think that they're going to be. Speaking of, let's look up what the next episodes are going to be. I think three are releasing next week too. So five, was it 6, 7, and 8? So let's see. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episodes. So the next episode is called Duel with the Devil. So we obviously know what that episode's going to be about. That episode is going to be about Daredevil. So that, we got that one. Then we got Scorpion Rising. So we know that's going to be a Scorpion based episode. And then we have Tangled Web. I wonder what Tangled Web is going to be about. I think Tangled Web is going to be when he gets the classic suit. I think they're going to give him the classic suit in Tangled Web. Like, I feel like that it only makes sense to name that episode that he's going to get the classic suit. So maybe that Osborne suit that he has, maybe after fighting Scorpion, that suit gets torn to shreds. You know? So because we do see in one of the promo for the show, he does face off with Scorpion. So I think that Osborne suit, future Foundation suit, that's probably gonna get torn, and then he'll probably make the classic suit. So we might see the classic suit in episode 8. That's my guess. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but that's kind of like my guess is what could happen. and Rhino was well characterized. Being a man of honor and is an interesting choice. I hope he wears the comic style Rhino suit and not some metal armor. I think we'll definitely see him in the Rhino fit, like the legit real Rhino fit, like nothing crazy robotics. So I think we are gonna see him in that. I hope we do. And like I said, they're gonna cross paths again. They didn't have Rhino say that line to Spidey for no reason. Like they're gonna cross paths again. Josh, I think Daredevil can crush him because Big Don almost died because of a non-suited Scorpion. Exactly. Like you see, he was struggling with Scorpion, so that just tells you right there. Like Big Donovan, he can't really face off with like a Scorpion or Daredevil and stuff. Definitely not a Kingpin. Definitely not a Kingpin. Kingpin will crush his skull in with ease. But is Unicorn more athletic than Daredevil? I think Unicorn, from what we've seen, she definitely has a bit of strength to her. Like she has like super strength. And I don't know if the unicorn helmet gives her that, but we already seen like she already has strength already just by the way she jumped out of that van. Like she jumped out of it like an action star. So I feel like with her already being a retired athlete, that already adds more to her strength because I feel like she seems like someone that she works out at 4 o'clock in the morning every day and eats a carton of eggs. Like she just seems like the type of person to do that. So I definitely feel like with the unicorn, maybe that helmet enhances her strength even more, and not just the laser, which I think Norman did specify there was like other effects that helmet gave her, but I don't remember exactly what effects he said it would give her. I went crazy when they revealed Lonnie is going to be Tombstone. Yeah, the way they revealed that. Which shout out to like I said, shout out to Biggie again for voicing the Bulldozer. That's Bulldozer. You guys have seen him before. Like I said, he was in She-Hulk for like a bit. He was played by another character, but Bulldozer. I think he is. What group is that? Is he in? I know he's in a villain group with a couple other villains, but you kind of see like the Bulldozer design. He had like a bulldozer chain on. He had like the orange jacket, like a construction worker with the orange vest that they wear, doing construction work. So you see that they're taking that inspiration from that and kind of building it into like a modern take. But him just saying, "Oh man, we should call you Gravedigger," and then Big Donovan is like, "Nah, we should call him Tombstone." And then Lonnie's like, "You know what? I like that, Tombstone." I when he said that, I and gave that like it's almost like a innocent but also kind of like a leaning towards the bad side smile. I said, "Oh no, no, not my boy Lonnie. Oh, they're doing it." So, man, I'm worried about Lonnie. I'm worried. What's up, Caden? Welcome to the stream, man. Who would win in a fight, Daredevil or Unicorn? I'd say Daredevil. Daredevil would have the advantage, I think. All he would have to do is just use his acrobatic ability to just knock the helmet straight off of Unicorn. And then at that point, all he would have to face is the strength, which Daredevil he's fought with Kingpin many times. And Kingpin has, he has very much a big strength ability. So I don't think Unicorn would be that much of a threat as far as how he's dealt with Kingpin. So I think he would be fine with Unicorn. So I think, like you said, Marvel fan, I think when it comes to advantage with Daredevil and the speed and agility side, I think he takes more of an advantage. I like those too. I love the funny scenes with Peter falling wearing the suits. Yeah, great stuff. And Norman should also look like John Romita and Steve Ditko Green Goblin with the mask and all. That's what I want. We were talking about that earlier. I don't want him to be this like robotic, straight out of a Transformers, like old Transformers movie, like the Tobey Maguire. And like I said, I appreciate the Tobey Maguire movies and stuff, but I really wish he would have had like the comic accurate mask and costume like he does in the comics instead of like what looks straight out of like a Transformer. I mean, not Transformers, but Power Rangers movie or show from the '90s. That's what his outfit, costume and stuff reminded me of in those movies. So I hope they go the comic accurate route. Hey, yep, that's yeah. You said Unicorn is not super strong. She's just Russian. Gotcha. Wrecking Crew. That's it. That's where I was. That's what I was trying to think of the group Wrecking Crew. Oh, Bulldozer. He's in the Wrecking Crew, I think. Yeah, yeah. The guy that Big E voices where he's asking about extra sauce packs because he has like a sauce drawer. That's him. I also love the setup with Lonnie becoming Tombstone. Yeah, Unicorn can definitely bench three. Yeah, yeah. Like, I just think she probably works out a lot because again, she's an athlete. So you know how that is. I'm a crazy Marvel fan, but let me tell you, when the revealed Lonnie is Tombstone, I had to search up Tombstone's real name, and dang, I just didn't know it. I just didn't know that. Yeah, this show has a really good way of just subverting like expectations, especially if you don't know the characters based off their villain names, but you don't, based off their villain names that they go by, but their real names when you hear them it's kind of like who? Like I'm sure there's some people who heard, you know, Rhino say Dimitri. There's probably some people who are like, "Oh, snap, that's Chameleon." But then there's people who are probably like, Dimitri? Who the heck is Dimitri? Who's he supposed to be? So obviously, I'm sure we're gonna see Chameleon at some point because we didn't actually see Chameleon in his form. In the concept art, like in the concept art, there's like Chameleon in his form when he's not being someone, right? He has like the white face, the white mask, and the gloves. Like we saw him with the gloves, but we didn't see him with the mask. So we're definitely. I have a feeling we're definitely gonna see Chameleon again at some point. So like I said, if you didn't know that his name was Dimitri, and if you didn't know that he was Craven's half brother, then you wouldn't have known, which kind of leads me to believe that maybe we could see Craven at some point in this series. If we got Dimitri, we'll definitely see, we'll definitely see Craven. I would hope, I think that would be cool. I feel like that was the only villain missing was Craven. I hope they take inspiration from Marvel's Contest of Champions, Green Goblin's design, because that design for me is really good. I hope they see him as inspiration from it as well. Hopefully they do. Like I said, I just want them to do a very comic accurate Green Goblin where he just wears the mask and costume and it isn't some kind of like nanotech or anything like that. Yeah, when he said Dimitri, I was like, oh yeah, a chameleon, but I just didn't know Tombstone's real name. Like it really shocked me. Yeah, Lonnie Lincoln. I looked at, like I said, when I did those when I did everything we know about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, when I did research for that video, well, it was Spider-Man freshman year. I never did change the title for it, but when I did research on these characters, I said Lonnie Lincoln. Why does that name sound so familiar? And then when I found out he's Tombstone, I was like, that's Tombstone? Huh. I wonder what they're gonna do with that. So there were a lot of characters that at first glance, when we heard the names for these characters, I was like, what are they gonna do with these characters? Like Nika Monaro from Runaways, uh, Gene Fulcott from Agents of Atlas, and Amadeus Cho from, I think he's the Immortal Hulk, right? Is he the Immortal Hulk, or Does he have another name that he goes by? I'm sure you guys know what name he goes by, but I know he was a Hulk when I searched him up, and then Asha, I was like, there wasn't too much on Asha besides her being like, I think in one comic, and she's like a Wakandan, superhero. I think she has a manipulating light. I think that's her power. So I was like, hmm, these are some really interesting characters to tie into that really no one knows too much about unless you do the research for them. The switch up was crazy. Jace here is a witness because he knows I've been rooting for the show since day one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Toby, like you guys all have been rooting for the show and stuff. So it's great to see like this show people kind of switching their thoughts about the show. Like a lot of people who are maybe unsure or didn't like the show or thought the show what was the point of it, they're now kind of switching, about I'd say about 3 to 5 episodes in, they're kind of like, you know what, I kind of like this show. This show does something a little different. I see why they went about it, and so now people are excited to see how it ends, and people are excited for seasons. And there's some people I talked to. They said they want this show to run for a lot of seasons. They want this to go for as long as they can, and so that just gives you a testament to, never judge a book by its cover. We oftentimes we see things and we hear things and we take things a word of mouth, and we don't really go into it with our own, thoughts and stuff. But you guys, just me making the videos, you guys didn't have to listen to me. You guys could have went in with your own, and I'm sure you guys did go in with your own thoughts in mind when it came to the show. But just being able to give the show a chance and just seeing like there is something here, like I just always had that feeling that this show, Marvel wouldn't do this show for any reason. And I felt the same way with X-Men 97. I said I feel like Marvel wouldn't just bring this back just because it's a nostalgic thing. Like I feel like they would bring it back because there's more story that they want to tell, because they know the X-Men are such a beloved group of characters. A lot of people rate the X-Men over the Avengers, and I'm one of those people. I've always found myself relating to the X-Men over the Avengers, to be quite honest with you. And that's not to take away from the Avengers and what they've done. It's just that the X-Men, to me, a lot of their stories are things that I felt, being an outsider myself, being an outcast in school and stuff, and in some ways feeling like an outcast now. It just feels like I relate to a lot of the things that they go through a lot more than what the Avengers have faced. Yeah, totally awesome, awesome Hulk. That was his name. Amadeus Cho is totally awesome Hulk. That's it. And even the scene with him and also the wizard. We gotta talk about the wizard. That guy, he has such a temper. For an old man, he's a very hothead, which I'm sure I don't know too much about the wizard in the comics, besides him being a Fantastic Four villain. Um, but he's very much a hothead. But that scene where Peter's walking out to go see Norman, and Amadeus Cho does his little presentation, and he has like the dubstep music going on and the flashing lights, and Peter's just rolling his eyes like, oh man, what a show off this guy. Like it's little moments like that it's funny with Amadeus Cho. So hopefully we see more Amadeus Cho. Maybe they're teasing a Runaways animated show in the same universe. I mean, that would be cool. You got Nico there, and I don't know the other members of the Runaways, but maybe that could be their second chance. Marvel tried to dabble into it with the live action show. It didn't work out. And so maybe this is, Marvel giving a second chance, kind of like how Daredevil is being given a second chance in the Marvel realm of things. So maybe so. Maybe we could get a Runaways TV show. Maybe we could get a Agents of Atlas. Maybe a Luna Snow animated show. We saw Luna in the latest episode. We saw it before in the promo, but we saw in the latest episode Luna Snow was posing with, Harry Osborne. So maybe there is like a universe that they are trying to connect with your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man with these other characters. I've literally seen YouTubers have two videos on your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man having contrasting opinions. Exactly. Like there's one YouTuber I watched, and he was talking about how your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man feels very basic. Like the concept just feels basic, and he thought the show was just going to be something that people weren't gonna attach to. He said he didn't care for the show. He thought the show shouldn't exist. All that stuff. But then when the show came out and he watched the first two episodes, his complete opinion completely changed. He started talking about, oh, this show was amazing, and this is one of the dopest animated series, Spider-Man animated series we've seen in some times, and all that. And I'm like, it's funny how the dynamic changes. I guess that should be a lesson to you. Never judge stuff until you actually watch an episode or two of it, and give your own thoughts of it instead of going into it with this mindset of I want to hate this. And it feels like nowadays that's how people are. I want to hate things, which is it's just so weird to me. It really is. It's so weird to me. Why would you want to go into stuff hating it? I like if you want to do that, like why bother watching it? Why bother caring? Like there's people right now with the Fantastic Four thing, and it's like, why are y'all even watching this stuff if you're just gonna automatically hate it? Like, come on, like what are we doing? Like, why waste your time? Why waste your money? Why waste your energy on something that you clearly, in your mind, you don't want to give a chance, but you want to hate it? Like, I don't know. It comes off mad weird to me. The wizard has no joy, definitely. Let's see, you said maybe Peter is supposed to meet up with her, but then Peter's habit of being late catches up with him. He kidnaps her, and Chameleon does this because he finds out about Peter's identity. I mean, hey, that would be something right there. You know, that would also be something right there because I mean, if they want to do that tie into kind of how Spider-Man's first issue with Chameleon, where he dresses up as Spider-Man, you know, and the police actually legit think it's Spider-Man, but no, Spider-Man has to prove like, no, this is an imposter. This isn't me. So, I mean, they could do something like that. I think that would be really interesting. And then legit Spider-Man the real Spider-Man has to save Nico. But in that moment, do you guys think he should tell her that he's Spider-Man, or do you think he should just keep it for himself? Being a part of an echo chamber also contributes to mindless hate. What do you mean by that, Toby? Because I mean, like being like a little bit uncertain about things, like I understand. Like if you're uncertain about things, you're not sure how it's gonna play out. Like that's understandable. Maybe certain things that might not be interesting to you, like you don't find it interesting. I think that's fine. Like that's normal. I think it's people online who, like with the Fantastic Four thing, right? Like I think it's people online who are like, "Oh, why are you doing a 20-second promo of children laughing with the most generic children's laughing sound effects?" People, saying stuff like that, or, oh man, why, I want to hate this because I don't think Marvel's going to do a good job with the Fantastic Four and just all this stuff, right? Like, if you've been on Twitter, you've been on the internet, you've seen the discourse that a certain groups of people have about certain things before even watching it. And it's like, I feel like in a way you're already setting yourself up for failure. Like you initially want something to fail because of like the little nitpicking of certain things. Oh, the Fantastic Four outfits aren't the blue that I want them to be. Oh, the uh Captain America, he has vibranium tech. He didn't take the super soldier serum, or uh, I don't know. What you guys know what people complain about online. I don't really have to go into what people complain about. And by the way, guys, read the tie-in comic of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm sick of people complaining about the time skip when the comic literally covered what happened in between time skip. Thank you. I I don't get why people are making this argument. I've been seeing that argument too. Because I mean, the prequel comic is literally online. Like you don't even have to buy the prequel comic if you want. It would be cool if you did, but if you don't, I mean, you can go literally read the prequel comic online. Like it gives you context to certain things, like the context of butane, right? They literally tell you that Silvermane is behind butane. When butane says, "I got hired," I think there was a line he said about getting hired by somebody, right? Like that was Silvermane he was referring to, which Silvermane is behind all of this, which I'm sure we'll find out about Silvermane throughout the series. Maybe he's an overarching villain that they'll build up to. I mean, like I said, even down to like the first episode, I'm so glad they did the time skip because we don't need. I hope you can review them for just for context. You know what? I'm actually going to do that. I'm actually going to do that. I've been thinking about doing that for a while. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to add a little context to the show and then add a little context to the prequel comic and kind of lead up into the a few months later, like think it was like a few months later that they said, right? I'll lead people into that so that way people can get the history of what's going on in the prequel comic, why there are certain references to certain things that you might not have known because they're in the prequel comics. So that's a good idea. I've thought about doing that for a while, so I am going to try to do that. But again, I'm so glad they didn't go over the whole origin story arc. We've already seen that. Like people already know about what happens. They don't need to know about that. That's like if they did Spider-Man PS4 and started us like the first act would have been us starting playing as Peter Parker in high school. Like people already know about Peter Parker in high school. People already know about Peter Parker and his powers and stuff. So that's a given. You know what Insomniac Spider-Man does really well is that we play a Peter Parker who's 8 years into the game of being Spider-Man. He's experienced, but he still has some inexperience. He's not at that level of experience, like full on experience, but he definitely has experience in the field. And even through doing the side quests and missions, you learn about his downfalls, his failures, his insecurities. You learn about all that throughout the little small missions that you do throughout the game. So I think of it that way from the prequel comic. The prequel comic is sort of like the Insomniac games where you're doing the missions, but you're reading the missions. You're reading about Peter Parker, what happened to the school. You read about the Silvermane stuff. You read about him fighting Crusher Hogan. You read about all that stuff. So it's not like they have to refresh you with all this in the show, which I appreciate. They don't have to. There's no need to. Cuz that would just take away too much time of other things that they could be focusing on. Look at all the great stuff we've been getting throughout the show. None of the stuff in the show to me has really felt none of it has really felt like filler. It's all played into either a bigger thing that's going to play out in the later episodes, or it's things that they come back to later on in the episode and it pays off. I really do hope we see the Coffee Bean Gang in future seasons. I think we will. I think we will. I mean, even down to like the enforcers. Like, I'm sure there might be a reference of the enforcers in these later episodes. And then people are going to be like, the enforcers, where do they come from? They're from the prequel comic. The third issue that's coming out this, I think this week. Is it coming out this week? No, it's coming out next week. That prequel comic's going to be based on him fighting the enforcers. So we're going to find out that the enforcers are even more involved with Silvermane's plans, right? So again, there's an even bigger story that's being told that's not even being talked about, that's being set up in the prequel comic. I definitely agree that the prequel comic, tie-in comic, does well at setting the story beats. Strongly recommend for those who are enjoying the series. Like, if you want to know about Peter Parker and why he's a big fan of Captain America, like the prequel comic tells you why. He has a big poster of Captain America on his wall, you know? Like all of these things that people are like, why did they do this? Like it's all right there. So either people just don't want to read the prequel comic or people don't know about the prequel comic. So I will try to do a video kind of going over the prequel comic. I wish it released all in one so that way I could try to go over all of it. Um, yeah, the Coffee Bean Gang are Harry Osborne, Flash Thompson, Gwen Stacy, and Mary Jane. Like, I think we might see those characters show up in future seasons. You know, if they plan to keep this show going for as much as possible, we're gonna get more time skips. You know, that first time skip that we got in the first episode, you know, we're definitely gonna get another time skip because Jeff Tramiel said that they have ideas of maybe doing another comic in between season 1 and season 2. So we're probably going to find out more context of what Peter's up to in maybe like a season 2, like what's going on in between season 1 and 2. Maybe he is facing some other things. He's going on some side quests. So again, when they get to season 2, they don't have to do all the extra storytelling stuff. They can go straight into the plot of season 2. But yeah, I think, if they want to go to the college years, I could see maybe Harry going to college with Peter and, then maybe they meet Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy. Maybe they do it where maybe Mary Jane dates not dates Peter, but Mary Jane maybe Mary Jane dates Harry for some time or something. They did it in the comics a little bit. So maybe that's something that could go by. They could maybe go by off of that, and then maybe it doesn't work out. Like, there's so many different things they could do with the series, but I feel like this series is really gonna switch it up and change things around. So, I mean, I really want Nico and Peter to be together because I love their dynamic. Like, I love how they bounce off of each other. It just feels like, even like I said, even with the prequel comic, like it adds more context to Peter and Nico's friendship. You know, why they get along so well. Also, I want to see Mysterio. I feel like him as a Stark employee might ruin his character. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I don't think they need to do that with Mysterio. I think Mysterio, they can play off into Peter's mental, because Mysterio is someone who plays off of that. He plays off into your mentality. So they could really make use of that. Maybe Peter's going through a point in his life where he feels like maybe me being Spider-Man just isn't enough. Maybe there's more that I have to do. And so maybe this is a way of, maybe they could do a certain storyline of him kind of doubting himself, you know, and then maybe that could be a cool way, like I mentioned earlier, where they can maybe tie back to him meeting his idol. Like, imagine him just sitting down and talking with Captain America, and Captain America not helping him, but maybe just Captain America giving him some words of advice and just kind of telling him, yo, Peter, I've seen what you're doing. I see what you did for the city of New York. You've really been, doing this and doing this your own way. I want you to continue that, you know, because what you're doing is great, right? So if just that alone, just that having that conversation, to me would mean a lot more to Peter than anything that the MC was done with him and Iron Man. Like, to me, that him having that conversation with Captain America and giving him that inspiration, giving him that motivation to keep going as Spider-Man. To me, that does more, in my opinion. Imagine a Spider-Man No More adaptation. If they do, they have to create, and I know it's been done to death, but they have to do that iconic monologue with Peter, right? Where he goes, he takes the costume and he throws it away. But I want them to do the monologue that they do in the comics, because I just that is, and everybody talks about that as like one of Spider-Man's biggest iconic moments in comic book history. But when you really look at the context of why that scene happens, and you get more of an understanding of why Peter Parker feels the way he feels, and I mean throughout Peter Parker's history, he's wanted to quit being Spider-Man many times. Like it's nothing new. But this time, it felt different. This time, him wanting to quit felt different. So if they want to go that Spider-Man No More route, I would love for them to say like, no, this is different. This isn't going to be what you know. He's going to quit being Spider-Man for a time. And we're going to see the effects of that, how that affects his psyche, how that affects the world around him, his friends, all of that. Like I really want them to play into the cause and effect of Peter Parker, leaving behind the role of being Spider-Man and how that affects him. There's a similar scene with Captain America giving Spidey the talk in Avengers Mightiest Heroes. Like, yeah, like I said, like that conversation would just be great for Peter to have, because everybody has that saying like you never meet your mentors. You never meet your idols. But what if this is like a switch case scenario where he does meet his idol, and his idol is his biggest inspiration? He's already his biggest inspiration. But just imagine just having one simple conversation with them. How much more determined Spider-Man will be just based off of that conversation. Makes sense. Chameleon disguise as Spider-Man webbed Nico up, and the people should decide on whenever Spider-Man is the real Spider-Man and who kidnapped her or not. Yeah, like I said, they done something similar to that in the first ever Spider-Man issue with him and the Fantastic Four. So yeah, and the Hulk guest starring would be cool too. I mean, we did get a mention of Hulk. Him going on a rampage, which that did happen in the MCU. There was that rampage scene where Tony he does the little thing. He keeps constantly punching him. You know, so we did see him go off on a rampage. So this is their opportunity maybe this is their opportunity to bring back the Hulk that people want. Because right now in the MCU, Hulk, he's neutered. That's the term I guess I'll say. Like he's neutered. Like he's not the Hulk that the Savage Hulk, the Hulk smash buildings, Hulk mad. Like he's not the Hulk that a lot of people want to see. So maybe this is their way to kind of course correct that in this show, to kind of make him the Hulk that we know, and not the Professor Hulk, not the chill and let's have tacos Hulk. Like Bruce Banner, he can do that. Like Bruce Banner, if you want to have Bruce Banner chilling with Spidey with tacos and stuff, yeah. But with Hulk, he needs to be all about business. He needs to be smashing buildings. He needs to be pouncing people. He needs to be angry. Like he needs to be angry. That's who he is. He has to come to terms with the power of him being angry. Because when you like you said, when you nerf and neuter his character to the point where people don't know the extent of his power, people take him as a joke, and I feel like he is taken as a joke in the MCU. Like he's no one takes him seriously because he has those glasses on. He's dressed like a, and I'm not saying that Hulk doesn't wear clothes, but make it when it's appropriate. What I like about the Thing in the Fantastic Four trailer is they made the Thing legit feel like a friendly giant, right? You see him, he's wearing a suit. He's wearing his iconic trench coat, trench coat and hat fit. Like you see that, right? That's the thing. But with Hulk, he's not someone who should always be wearing a professor's jacket and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like he should have his, he should be show his green, green muscles and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's a part of his character. So I think just having the Hulk be that Hulk smash, Hulk angry in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I think would be great. And I hope they do. Uh-oh, reconnecting. I'm back. Even Professor Hulk in the comics was a beast. In the MCU, he's Shrek now. Like, yeah, like, I need to read more about Professor Hulk, because I don't know that much about him. But even you saying that, like, based off of that, right? Like, that's what they need to be doing. Like, they need to make him someone that you can't, he's not someone to be messing around with. Like, he's someone that you should be afraid of. You know? Uh-oh. I had to charge my phone in because it's starting to drain a little bit. All right. Well, with Amadeus, we might see that version of Hulk. That is true. I mean, we do have Amadeus Cho, so maybe he could be that Hulk. Fill that void as Hulk in this universe. So we'll have to see. But I would love to see Bruce Banner Hulk, have that same vibe too. That angry Hulk. But speaking of, what characters do you want to see? Like, what heroes? Because I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but Josh Keaton, he did kind of tease about Iron Man. So I wonder if he's voicing Iron Man in this show because he did kind of tease off that little image with the ensemble image with all the characters that we're going to see in the show, right? And we did see Iron Man in that image. So I wonder if he's going to be voicing him. I think that would be interesting. I know last week I said one of my favorite little visual moments was Spidey stopping the van, specifically the web POV. I would say my favorite moment this week was the new suit reveal. Yeah, that new suit reveal reminded me so much of like Spider-Man PS4, you know, when Osborne makes the advanced suit for Peter and then he tries it on and he's just swinging around the city and he's like, "Hello, New York." Like that scene reminded me so much of that scene. So I would imagine I could only imagine they probably took maybe some inspiration from that scene. Just him swinging about, he's just laying back off the building and swinging, and there's so many like different like swinging techniques that they do with the animation in the show that I'm just like we haven't seen like this before. We haven't seen this in a while. Dude swinging felt more confident, and the song choice is perfect. Yes, yes, most definitely. He definitely felt confident in that suit. Like, just imagine how much more confident he's going to feel when he gets that classic suit. When he finally gets that classic suit and starts swinging around the city, his confidence level is going to be up. It's going to be taken up a notch. Like I have that feeling, you know. So that's why I'm looking forward to him finally getting the classic suit. Like the foundation suit, it's cool. I like it for what it is, but I'm so ready to see him in that classic Spidey suit, you know. I gotta appreciate the Iron Man looking comic accurate for sure, for sure. Even down to the news reports, right? Like you saw on the screen, you had the Sokovia Accords thing going on. Then you had what happened in Civil War with T'Chaka, with the him getting killed. Then it was something else on the side there I didn't make out of. I couldn't make out, but there was something else on the screen, and even down to the news reporting stations. I think what was it, the WHIIS or something like, I don't think that's what it was, but we've seen that one through the MCU. There was one that was in the Daredevil, Luke Cage, all those shows. There was the other news reporting station there too. So a lot of references. I'd love to see a Fantastic Four cameo, even if it might feel almost impossible. I would too, and like I said, I still have a theory about that Future Foundation suit. Like I really do feel like Norman and the Wizard probably took those materials from the Fantastic Four and they created that suit for Peter. Probably with Peter, thinking it's good intentions, but having Norman probably stealing materials from, or maybe it could be, Otto Octavius. Maybe he's a part of this plan too. Maybe he's been working with, Osborne, because I don't know if you guys notice, but that scene where Norman was looking at that symbol on the computer, it almost felt like he knew where that symbol was from. And then he got spooked by Spider-Man. So I don't know if he knows about something with Otto Octavius. I don't know if he's working with Otto Octavius, but there was definitely something sus about that scene. I think in the show, Spider-Man is going to build a Young Avengers with Amadeus, Gene Wave, and the Wakandan girl. Yeah, Asha. I mean, they could. They could. I mean, we don't have the Young Avengers technically, and even we kind of do, but they're not together. But again, I've been hearing that they're not going to coin it as Young Avengers. They're going to title it Champions because all the actors and also the characters are kind of older, so they would be more considered the champions than the Young Avengers. Since she will not have her powers yet. Yeah. I well, we might see Nico's powers eventually throughout another season or something. I think they're gonna do a slow burn with that. And whoever that Spider Bit next, they might be a part of that team. Yeah, I still think it's Cindy, but I wouldn't put it past that they maybe Miguel O'Hara too, because again, Miss O'Hara, like the fact that they had her, because we don't know if she has a son. We don't know if she has a son or a grandson or anything. So who knows? Maybe if it's not Silk, maybe it's Miguel O'Hara. Maybe he shows up in the show. I think that would be an interesting pace because you got maybe like you got your positive Peter Parker here, and then you got your more nitty gritty Spider-Man with Miguel here. So instead of doing like the Spider Clone saga with him and his clone, maybe they do this with Peter, and then you have Miguel, and sort of kind of do something like that. I definitely love the swinging scene in the show. It is just as good as the swinging scene in Spectacular inspired Spider-Man 2. Yeah. War Machine. Yeah, War Machine would be interesting. Because if they're going based off the events of, Civil War, I wonder what happened with Rhodey. Is Rhodey okay? Was there a way for Rhodey to get out of the situation he was in? So that would be interesting. But I think season one of the show is just the beginning of something big coming into season two. I think so too. I still say it, and I think they're gonna set up a Sinister Six. I really do have that feeling that they're gonna set up Sinister Six because we haven't seen really a Sinister Six in a project in some time. Well, you count Spider-Man, you know, PS4, and they kind of did that in Into the Spider-Verse, but as far as like a legitimate Sinister Six team, we haven't seen that in quite some time. So maybe they'll do something like that. There was a picture of Norma Osborne with T'Chaka alongside the one with Cap. Yeah, I actually, before this, I don't know if you guys caught in my last live stream, but I did kind of briefly mention this in my last live stream. Like it was like a quick blink and you'll miss it moment. But I wish I would have posted it on Twitter because a lot of people started recognizing it as soon as the episodes came out. But I wish I would have posted it earlier because I had seen that picture. I was like, wait a minute, is that T'Chaka? I was like, that's gotta be T'Chaka. So interesting that Norma Osborn knows T'Chaka. So that means that he's either been to Wakanda or he has Wakanda connections, which again would make sense because how would have Asha would have gotten there? You know what I mean? So he would to have known about Wakanda, you know, which means he probably met T'Challa, in that universe too. So again, it just adds more. And then in the restaurant, he talks about like there are four creative minds that I thought about that could have been behind this Spider-Man character. He named them Jean, Amadeus Cho, Asha, and Peter Parker. Like he named all those, which leads me to believe that he didn't just recruit them to be at Oscorp. There's a bigger reason behind why he recruited them. And I don't know if he's trying to get their powers. I don't know if he's trying to keep tabs with all the heroes so he could try to build his own team to be manipulative. I don't know what he's trying to do, but there's definitely a bigger plan with Osborne. Like there's definitely something big going on with him. The girl who can pick up the book bag could be Gwen Stacy. Yeah, I mean, I tried, like I said, I tried many times to pause in that episode to see who picked up the bag. I honestly see it as a case of maybe the spider crawling out of the bag and maybe going to a certain another location, and maybe that's where they bite someone else, like a Gwen Stacy or a Sydney Moon or a Miguel O'Hara. Like they we'll find out because again, that spider's not dead, so we're gonna find out where that spider went to because it's not dead. So you got to go with the typical Hollywood rule. If you don't see the person or thing die, they're not dead. So, in other iterations, we knew the spider was dead. Like, Into the Spider-Verse. As soon as that spider bit Miles, it laid, back first on the floor. So that spider's dead. So, maybe he uses the heart-shaped herb, the herb to make the G serum. Hmm. Interesting. That's really interesting. That would be an interesting twist. And then maybe that's their way to bring in T'Challa. And he's like, you're stealing resources from Wakanda. You should know better. You know? I hope that Harry does become a Goblin Jr. so everybody can stop calling him gay. I don't get why people think he's gay. I mean, his design, like, going based off the end credits designs of what we've seen, do I feel like they should have chosen the designs they had? Yes, I think the other designs they had in the concept art from the end credit scene, I think they look a lot better for Harry than the design they went with. They could have still gave him the waves, but maybe got rid of the man bun ponytail thing. He didn't really need to have the earrings. I mean, some guys do have earrings, double earrings like that. I went to school with a lot of guys who were into the piercings and stuff, so I kind of see where maybe they could maybe add that in, but I still don't think that Harry Osborn is gay. It's just his style is different. A lot of people in that, when you look at a lot of people, because Harry is in the influencer world, and a lot of influencers, for the most part, they wear different fashion. if you see celebrities, you guys see celebrities and all the different crazy fashions that they wear. Some of them wear crazy looking hats and crazy looking outfits that you say to yourself, I would never wear that. So I think of Harry Osborne kind of tapped into that rich but also influencer world where he kind of follows the top of the trend stuff in that realm, the rich realm of things. So that's why I think his design looks the way it does. Although I personally, like I said, I would have gone with some of the other designs with the more classic finger waves, the Carlton outfit from the Fresh Prince. Like I would have went for more of a design like that for Harry. But I understand from another perspective that they probably want to go more that influencer fashion route. There's a comment on how Nico could get kidnapped by Chameleon. I mean, it's possible. It's possible that he could get kidnapped from Chameleon. So we'll have to see. But yeah, do you guys have any more thoughts and theories? Because I would love to hear them. I don't want to try to stay on too long, but it's been an amazing stream with you guys. It's always been amazing talking with you guys, and I'm just as hyped for the next episodes. I'm like really hyped. But I'm like, if Harry was gay, he would have called Peter cute. Like, yeah, like again, there's that crowd of people who just think that every character is this thing, and it's not always the case. And even if they were, why does it matter? Like, why does that bother you so much? You know what I mean? Like, again, these are the same people who literally thought Wolverine was going to be gay in X-Men 97. Not seeing one episode of the show. You know what I mean? And making accusations like that. And it's like you haven't even seen the show. And then Wolverine literally is still he's still got feelings for Jean. Like he still legit has feelings for Jean, and we see that throughout the show. So I don't know. I don't know. People just always have to find something negative to say to make their narrative feel like it's factual, when in reality, it's not factual. It's just something that is all in their head, you know? But yeah, I want to hear you guys' thoughts if you have any more, because I want to try to end the stream. Like I said, I enjoyed streaming with you guys, talking with you guys. You guys always make the streams. I don't make the streams. You guys make the streams. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I would just be a guy probably sitting here talking to myself in the camera. So you guys always make the streams more interesting with your questions and your comments. And it's just been really amazing to theorize what happens. Like I said, if I could, I would love to do streams every day if I had the time, because they're always great, But being able to have these times where I'm able to, do this, I think is great. But if you're going to make Harry Black, I would have given him dreads. I mean, yeah, they could have given him dreads, not not like how they did Miles in Spider-Man 2 with the whole Killmonger dreads haircut. I'm so tired of seeing that haircut. Spider-Man 2 is on PC, and I'm sure there's plenty of mods out there with Miles with his regular haircut from Miles Morales and stuff. So I don't really like that haircut they gave him in that game. So I hope when Spider-Man 3 comes out, they revert him back to his old haircut, or maybe give him like a flat top or something, because that Killmonger hairstyle they gave him is just not it. Or if you're gonna do the dreads, do them differently. Like have split dreads. You know what I mean? Like had dreads on this side, dreads on that side, right? Like they could have gave Miles a hairstyle like that. They didn't do that. They just did to me, the most weirdest, most ridiculous hairstyle they could give him, and I don't like that hairstyle personally for him. So I hope they change it. And IG Jeter literally has dreads, so they could have gave him the same dreads that Nige Jeter has, the braids or whatever, you know? Um, but who knows? Maybe Harry's style could change over time. That's the thing about these characters. We don't know. Like, these characters, their hairstyles and stuff, their clothing styles could change, you know? Like in the concept art in the end credits, there's like a whole row of different hairstyles for Peter, right? You saw like the classic John Romita one with the one strand of hair coming out. You see another one where it's kind of like the more kind of like one he does there's another style that he has that's similar to what he has already. Then you have the ones at the bottom left where it's sort of like he has like it feels like a more modern Peter haircut that he has, like on the shorter side. Then you have the one which people love, the messy one, with the spiky, messy one. Like, who knows? We might see Peter Parker's hairstyle change over time. We might see him lose the glasses, you know? They kind of teased it a little bit in that scene when he's taking off the homemade suit, and you don't see him with glasses on, you know, in that scene because he's looking down at the camera, taking selfies and stuff. I have a theory about Nico being kidnapped by Chameleon. He grabbed her, pulled her into an alley, tried to tie her up, and gagged her and tossed her into a van. Peter swings after them. Yeah, I mean, they could do something like that. That's definitely an interesting theory. Like I said, I don't think this is the last time we'll see of these villains, like Chameleon and Rhino and the Unicorn and all these villains. Like, they're gonna come back. So, yeah. Let's see, what time is it? It's 7:38. Oh wow. But yeah, you guys have any more thoughts or questions? Let me know, because I'm gonna end the stream. I had already said that like 6 times already. And Peter is late, and as always, that leads Nico to being kidnapped. Yeah, the Parker luck. He tries his best to get to places late. He ends up getting late or doesn't show up. So I could definitely see maybe that time around being the most, quintessential part of, you know, him being late, and then she getting kidnapped, and then he like I said, like probably gets mad at him, like she's probably mad because you know late again, right? And there was like no way that anyone could save her, so maybe that could build a bit of tension between them. But honestly, I don't want to see that. It kind of already feels like there is tension just a little bit. So like I said, hopefully Peter kind of catches on, like, oh, she likes me, oh, I like her. So yeah. But yeah, that's it. I think that's everything. So like I said, I enjoyed talking your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man episodes 3, 4, and 5 with you guys. Great episodes. The show just keeps getting better and better. And next week, it's gonna be even better because we're gonna get Daredevil. We're gonna get Scorpion. So we're gonna find out where all that leads to. And then next will be the finale. I do agree with Coy from Real Rejects. I do agree with what he said. I think the show would have benefited better if they just released each episode, every episode, just one episode a week, because I feel like kind of covering all the episodes, in one stream sometimes is kind of hard because there's certain things you want to mention or certain things you forget about. So sometimes it's kind of like you don't really think about it until it gets brought up, or you watch the episodes again. So I do wish they would have done the one episode a week format. I know they felt like it would have intertwined into Daredevil Born Again, and maybe that would have caused your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to not get enough views or whatever the case. But I still feel like each episode should be talked about in its entirety, because they're all important. Like there's no filler in these episodes. They all connect to the ever growing story in this world. So I do wish they would have done one episode a week. But hey, it is kind of cool that we get at least 3 episodes a week. So it does kind of give you wanting more, and there is more. So yeah. Yeah, that is going to be the stream. I'm going to call it. Um, Great stream, amazing stream. Love doing these streams with you guys, and it's been awesome talking about the show and stuff. Um, it's amazing to see so many people giving the show a chance, and it's starting to grow on them and stuff. I was hoping that the show would do this for them. Um, and yeah, I just feel really good about this show. Like I feel really good about it. And I won't say too much, but I will say, like I said, if you love the show and you love the direction that they're going in and you want to know more, stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say is stay tuned. There's some things coming that I think you guys are gonna enjoy. You guys are gonna like. So yeah. With that being said, as I always say, if you're watching this in the replay, I want to know what you think about your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episodes 3, 4, and 5. Tell me your favorite part. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would like to see in the next episode, and give me your theories as far as what you think is going to happen in the next couple of episodes. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, a great week. Like I said, I'm going to try to do some trailer reactions for the Super Bowl. I'm going to try to do as many as I can and get those out to you guys. I might have a video tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Um, Next week I'll be back, doing another stream like this where we'll be talking episodes 6, 7, and 8. So we'll have that to look forward to, and then yeah, that'll be it. That will be it for the time being. Captain America: Brave New World comes out next week, so I'll probably see that. So I'll probably do a review for that movie as well and give my thoughts on it. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I got plenty of stuff coming, and yeah, as I always say, if there's things that you guys are passionate about, you want to do it, just do it. Go for it and do it better than anything you could ever imagine. And along the way, you'll find the right people for you, and the right path will be shown. So yeah, you guys got nothing to worry about. Again, thank you guys again so much for all the support. We hit 2,800 subscribers on YouTube, which is just great. Like I said, the goal is to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. I think we can do it. I know we can do it. We're the dream team. We make dreams happen over here. So I know we're gonna do it. And like I said, I got tons more plans on a roadmap of just different ideas and concepts that I have going. That is just you guys are not ready for what I have planned. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, with that being said, as always, thank you guys so much. You're back. Oh, Marvel fan, I was getting ready to end the stream, man. But I can kind of way back a little bit if you have anything else to add. If anyone else has anything to add, I can kind of way back a little bit. Oh, I came back too late. The Spice, man, you came in late. I was getting ready to end the stream. I wish it doesn't seem like YouTube is really sending out notifications like it should, because I know that I notice a lot of you guys don't always get notifications to my streams. So I really wish YouTube would kind of lean more into making sure people get the notifications. But if not, like if you guys don't get them, try to hit that notification bell. And when you do, oh, you just found me scrolling. Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the channel. Like I said, we were talking Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, episodes 3, 4, and 5. So before I go, the Spice. I want to hear your thoughts on the episodes. Kind of give me like a what you thought of them and stuff, and I can kind of go from there. But I said if you guys don't get notifications on the streams or anything, try to make sure to hit that bell notification. And when you do, try to hit all because it'll automatically put it on personalized. And personalized doesn't always mean that all the notifications are going to come out. So just keep that in mind for those who maybe want to see when I like directly post stuff. That's true. All the YouTube notifications have been coming in late for all my subscriptions. It might be a YouTube thing. It's definitely a YouTube thing because that happens to me a lot too. Like there will be notifications that I get about certain videos, and then I check out the videos and they came out like hours later, and I'm like, why am I just now getting a notification for this? So it's really weird what YouTube does, and I really hope that they keep working on fixing that because that's one of the biggest issues with not just content creation but also on YouTube is that the algorithm doesn't always let you know what who's streaming or who just posted the video or anything like that. So hopefully they continue working on that. He said, but just wanted, I don't know if the Spice is still here. If you hear the Spice, let me know what you thought of the show. If not, just let me know in the comments. I'm gonna hold out for you though. But I just wanted to say, keep up the grind, bro. Good things will come your way. Keep it up. Thank you, Marvel fan. And like I said, as always, man, you've been a supporter of me since the very beginning. When I started doing live streams, you were like the first ever person in the live streams, and even just commenting on the videos and stuff too. You've always been very supportive. So, like I always say to you, like I appreciate everything that you do, and I appreciate all the comments that you guys always like send to me and stuff. They motivate me to just keep going. Sometimes I wake up and sometimes I just don't want to do anything. I just don't feel motivated enough. But you guys keep me afloat to want to keep doing this, and I want to push out as much content this year as possible. Like I don't want to take any breaks, even though a break might be needed here and there. I just want to keep going and keep pushing and keep growing my audience. So I want to keep this year I want to grow as much as I can. But yeah. No problem. You're the one I should be thanking enough. I know, but like I said, you guys are the ones who keep me who I am. You guys keep me doing this. So at the end of the day, I'm the one that should be thanking you guys cuz like I said, I wouldn't be where I am without you guys. I don't know if the Spice is still here. If he's not, then I'll hopefully he'll comment on what he thought of the episodes. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the stream. I'm lagging. Why am I lagging? Okay, I should be good now. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the stream. And as I always say to you guys, big love to you all and peace out.